yet, and it looks like it's going to start right now for Rogue, just behind the minerals. Now, in general, in StarCraft, if two players go for pools and one is slightly later than the other, you have an advantage because you have more drones, as long as it's not so late that you can't defend lings, right?
That's right, yeah. And he also took the gas before the pool, so he's going to have his, ling speed, Baneling tech, these kind of things online a lot earlier. He's going to go down and take his hatchery now at 15. This is still quite a low drone count for Rogue. He's only on 14 drones. You might look at this as Solar and think, oh, this is like, an economic opening. But he's not going up to the standard one base saturation here. Only 11 on minerals. So if he holds here without taking much damage, the counter punch could be quite big if that's what he wants to go for.
Yeah, he's going to be coming down now. We have 6 lings about to hatch here. And Solar is only making lings. We haven't had any drone start at all. So he is very committed to this. The question is, do you commit on the hatch or go into the main? And he answers that question right away by coming down and hitting the hatchery. Drones are pulled. He has to basically hit, run here to try to buy some time before the damage snowballs down the hatchery.
Yeah, with the lings out here, he will be able to keep hold of this hatch. As long as he keeps pumping out lings, when that ling speed finishes, I'm a little bit worried for Solar because he'll be able to send all of them across the map very quickly. On the side of Rogue, though, he is losing a lot of mining time, picking off some of these drones already. This looks like a very good trade, actually. 3 drones go down. If he can get a few more, that would be very, very worth it for him.
Yeah, right now it's 11 drones to 9. So Rogue has dropped a decent amount of workers here. I mean, when you consider what's happened so far, he could actually... Oh, I thought he was going to go on that one drone right up there. He's going to run by and go up into the main and do a little bit more scouting. Now, keep in mind, Ling speed is almost done. And speed lings are much stronger than slow lings. They can really punish here. So there is the possible counter punch inbound here that could be huge.
Yeah, Rogue is not remaking these drones. He's just continuing to make lings. He's rallying them across the map. I think this might be quite difficult for Solar to hold. May have to pull some workers here, get some kind of block on the ramp. If the second queen comes out, that would be amazing. But ling speed is now done.
Okay, so he's going to try to go up into the main. Now remember, if he was going to hit with all of his lings, losing these is going to give him a little bit less. He does take out a drone. Oh, okay. He's got the lings just stopped there for a second. Kind of a weird rally. He's going to run up into the main. Now the queen's going to retreat towards where the drones are, and that'll prompt Rogue to then switch his attention down to the hatchery over here on the low ground. Now losing this hatchery is going to be devastating.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he can hang on to this. The queens do make a nice block at the ramp. Some drones come down to help out. His first queen to the front getting very low. I'm not sure if there's a transfuse available. Oh, he's off creep, so he can't transfuse. And just like that, the counter punch with the speed.
Yeah.
Rogue takes game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, there you go, right? It's you lose some workers early. It's scary. You might be losing your hatchery. Rogue didn't. He was able to defend it, but then, yeah, the investment of the ling speed later on is so strong.
Yeah, that's what the gas before pool gives you, right? Normally you just go pool, hatch, gas, but this time you went gas, then pool, and this gives him ling speed way quicker than you would normally have. And even though he lost the workers, I think he went down to 9, which is not a lot at all. Just having some lings with speed, getting them across the map really quick, he's able to just take the game.
Yeah, I thought for a second maybe just the hatchery would go down, but the reality is if you lose the hatchery too, that's probably also fatal. You have no tech and you're on one base, and I think he was he ahead by like 2 or 3 drones?
Yeah, I think Solo was on like 14 maybe-ish.
Yeah.
Like he had a few more for sure. And he couldn't hold the ramp anyway though, right? He had the queens on the ramp, and once those goes down, the lings will get into the main, so... Interesting game 1. This is what we're talking about with kind of how the patch, the worker change, has changed the early game in ZVZ. The build order choices matter so much now.
Yeah. Some of the later games, I don't think TVT. Well, we'll see. I mean, we're gonna obviously have plenty of TVTs here in RSL, but I think some matchups this will impact more than others.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the idea behind having the worker count change. Is okay, well, what openings can you do now? What does that look like? Does that spice things up? Does that make things more interesting? And so, yeah, I think Solar came in there with not a bad idea, but it certainly didn't succeed in any way that got him the game. In fact, you could see that once that whole concept played out, there was nothing really fancy about what Rogue did, right? He just basically kept making lings and counterattacked and snowballed the game to a victory.
Yeah, I mean, if Rogue had gone for a hatch first, for example, the temple would have been way stronger. So that kind of worked out in Solar's favor. And, you know, this time, I doubt we'll see them both play the same builds. I think you have to mix up your openings now in ZVZ.
Yeah.
You're not going to be like a I-10 pool every game kind of guy, because that can be shut down with a build like we just saw there, or some kind of early pool of the opponent's own. But here we are in map number 2. It's going to be on Necropolis. Solar in the top left, Rogue in the bottom right.
So, one of the things I'm noticing, and I was kind of wondering this before RSL started, but I was going to hold off until I saw a couple ZVZs. But, you know, obviously StarCraft 1, you start with 4 workers. When we had the worker count reduction in StarCraft 2, it is interesting to see that the early game ZVZ looks a lot more like StarCraft 1. You know, Zerg versus Zerg's always been kind of a funny matchup because of the way that Zerg develop, right? You have to choose between a drone or Zerglings. Like,
right.
You know, basically you have to choose between economy or attacking units. Obviously, yeah, Overlords too. But where like the other races, like Protoss and Terran, are actually much more similar in that, like, you know, gateways or barracks or factory, they're all making a certain set of units. You don't warp in probes from a gateway, right?
Right.
So I've always been interested in how ZVZ is impacted by that. And I think when there's more workers, it seems like there's more range to try to get away with stuff. And when there's less, it can be more oppressive and more inhibitive, and more punishing in some situations.
Yeah, for sure. This game, we see Rogue going for a pool first without the gas. So he's going to have a slightly faster hatch, more economic opening. Solar's gone for a hatch first, so this is the most economical opening you can do. The difference between these is not too much in terms of economy. Obviously, the hatch first player is a little bit ahead, but it's kind of like minute, and as the pool first player, you can take this into a macro game. You're not forced to get any really early damage done or anything like that. You can just make drones and play this out. We'll see what Rogue's got planned here. I think he's definitely, like, for me, one of the most interesting players the last few seasons.
Right.
Like, the builds he's been bringing out, all the different strategies have been really cool to look at. So we'll see what he's got planned here. He also likes that hatchery in the wall. You remember that? He was doing like a hatch in the wall, the third hatch in the wall. With the lava buff, that might be even better now.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea at all. But I think this game is going to be one where we should see a little bit more development here. It's not going to be, you know, 2 players coming at each other right away. So both players are going to be expanding here. Going to be a slow start, basically just droning up and going into development. We want to see if there's going to be a third hatchery and an expansion, or if this is going to be some kind of 2-basing, you know, powering, teching, something like that.
Yeah, 2-base Roach builds are good. 2-base Muta builds can work. Like you say, going for a third hatch has been the standard in ZVZ for a long time. So we'll have to see what these guys want to do. Ling speed already on the way here for Solar. Just a little bit ahead of Rogues as he went for the pool first. But he'll be getting that shortly. And then we have to look at, like, are they taking a third base? Are they going for Bane Nest before the third base? Are they staying on gas? How many queens do they get in? All these little details can kind of paint the story of what each player's intentions are. Okay. Well, that says an intention already. The layer at 3:15.
Yeah.
For Rogue.
Very, very fast layer here. The Ling does not get up into the main here. He's going to just stay back and try to see what might be hatching out of these eggs.
Yeah, he's got to deny this scout.
Yeah.
Like, if you see this layer that early, it's huge.
Yeah. No, you need that element of surprise here. We have Ling speed nearly done here for Solar, although he's not cranking out a ton of Zerglings just yet, so there's not going to be any kind of attack here. But it is that 3-base versus 2-base opening right now here. I mean, the layer's almost done. I would not be shocked if we see a Spire go down here.
Yeah, I mean, he skipped his Ling speed to get that layer as fast as possible, so we'll see what the tech is at the moment. He hasn't added on a ton of gases right now, which makes me think it won't be Muta. He's only on 2 gas at the moment. He's adding the Roach Warren. That may just be for the wall. We'll see here momentarily, but he is getting Ling speed as well. Okay, that Overlord actually just floats in and spots the layer there. Big scout by Solar. And he's going to be Spire.
Oh, okay. He's going to come in here and see. He'll see the Spire has just started. This is a lot of room to try to respond to this here for Solar. I mean, you know, the earlier you can scout this, the better. But I mean, he basically saw it right when the Spire started here.
Yeah, that's a great scout for him. He's going into carapace of his own. I'm still waiting for Rogue to get his 3rd and 4th gas. Okay, there we go now. So he's going to go into some mutas for sure. These queens just hold in the front, make sure these Lings do not get into the natural again. Going to get his own Evo chamber. And now the question is he going to, you know, max out on mutas, like try and go pure Ling Bane muta, or is he going to make some mutas and then go into roaches and try to play a more ground-based game.
He does throw down that Roach Warren. We'll see how committed he is with the Mutas, but right now, I mean, he doesn't have a ton of gas. You know, he's basically, he's below 200 gas. So, you know, I'm almost wondering, like, how committed will he be to this at all? He's going to let it build up a little bit more, so looks like he will, in fact, be making some units. I've thought for a second, like, is he just going to let the Spire finish and go right into, like, Ling Roach? That doesn't feel good.
Right.
But instead, he just wanted to build out a little bit more here in his base.
Yeah, Solar's made a ton of Lings, by the way. He's, you know, at this doorstep of Rogue, just threatening to run in at any moment. That's forcing Rogue to make a lot of Lings of his own. And the threat is always there. He wants to take this third base, but the drone actually going to get picked off en route.
Yeah, snipes that drone. Nicely done here. Solar, you know, when you go for those 3 bases and the other guys are going Mutalisks, you have to take advantage of the fact that you have that extra base for as long as possible. And sniping that drone, that buys a lot of time.
Yep. Yeah, you got to send a new one. You know, you lose the money for the drone, of course. The Lings just kind of chasing each other around the map, and we see an infestation pit. This is the kind of standard anti-muta response. Add on a bunch of queens, get your spores, go up to infestors, and then later, once you have your 3 base economy, start to move into hydralisks to round that out. One queen will actually get caught at the front, but the mutalisks are here to help out.
Yeah, the Lings are going to come in here. They do snipe that queen. Obviously, they're going to have to back off with the mutas over them like this. And, you know, it's funny. A lot of times when you see players go for mutalisks, it's really hard for the other player to attack them because the mutas will just counterattack and kill drones and do all that kind of stuff. But what Solar's doing is he's using these Lings kind of the same way. He's kind of forcing the mutas to stay back and help defend, which means you're not getting a ton of value out of them for the time being. You know, you want these mutas to be trying to kill stuff on the other side of the map. Now Rogue's going to send these Lings up here all the way into the main.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to lose all of them. If he can get a queen, that would be something. Maybe slow down the production. Oh, it actually survives. Wow.
What?
That was so many Lings for basically nothing except to scout, I guess you could say. The Hive now on the way for Solar, and I really like his position in this game. The one thing Solar has, Rogue has going for him is Solar might invest too much into anti-muta tech. You know, go in Hive, go in Infestation Pit, and then if Rogue can hit it big, Roach Ravager max out, maybe he can punish him while he's trying to make that transition.
Yeah, a lot more roaches are being cranked out here right now. The army supply is actually quite high here for Rogue, but as long as Solar's doing these little counterattacks, it's going to be Rogue defending before he can finally move out.
Yeah, he's forced to show the roaches there, and he sees there's no drones at the third, so Solar should know that this is basically all in from Rogue. He stopped droning a while ago. He's only at 45. He's doing nothing but hold this Roach key down. Roach Warren just started now for Solar, so he's going to be relying on mostly Queens, Lings, and Infestors to make this defense happen.
Yeah, he's still making roaches. Sometimes we see these games where they make Lings behind the roaches to try to come in here and basically stay in the front and tank, but this is a different kind of style. He's going to have mutas and roaches coming up here and hitting. There is an Ultralisk Cavern that started right now for Solar.
Yeah, I mean, if those come out, it'll be huge, but I don't think he'll have the time. Rogue trying to make this happen right now. Tons of Ravagers morphing, not adding their DPS right now, but Solar forced to pull back for the moment, wait for the next round of Lings to spawn.
Yeah, he's going to come up now. And, you know, with the Spore here, it's hard to get the mutas in. He is going to be able to pick this off. Kind of unnecessary corrosive bile that comes over there. He actually hits on some of those roaches with that the beautiful fungal.
Yeah, the mutas just can't join the fight. The Queen's kind of zoning them out with their long, you know, anti-air attacks, and Solar's starting to chew through this army, but more and more roaches streaming across the map. Is he going to have enough to actually break this? The Lings are all gone, so the Queen's under fire right now. Throwing down these bios when he can. The muta's trying to add a bit of DPS. This is on a knife's edge right now, but I think Rogue might just be starting to wear the Zerg army down here.
I think he's almost got enough. You know, it's just Queens. We don't have anything reinforcing. There are 2 Ultralisks started, but, you know, they take a while to make. Infestors overextend for a second, but they do retreat back. But, you know, when the Queens fall, that's really where the defending Zerg is going to be destabilized. He's going to run back with 4 of those Queens. And that's where Rogue is going to slide up here into the third base and start trying to hit a very vulnerable expansion.
Yeah, the drones have to be pulled. So many Hive upgrades on the way for Solar right now. He's spent a lot of resources into Adrenal, you know, Kindness Play and all these upgrades that are not helping in this fight.
Oh.
Roaches getting the natural, start to take out drones, the Evo Chamber that's making +2 melee. That Spore Crawler will fall down, so now the Muta's reign supreme, and one Ultralisk is out.
Yeah, he's got an Ultralisk out, but there's nothing else here to help tank in the way. Just a couple more Lings are going to hatch here, and the Ultra's eventually going to go down. And the problem, I think, right now for Solar is he's never going to have enough to fight this all at once. He's basically losing things as they're hatching.
Yeah.
The fact that he's in between the main and the third base, too, means nothing can kind of group together. That's going to be a GG. Rogue takes that very handedly.
Yeah, very, very interesting game number 2 there. Going for the Mutalisks, letting Solar, go into some Hive Tech to try to counter them, and then just not droning the third, going for that big push, Roach timing, and just killing him outright.
Yeah, I mean, Rogue clearly with a very good handle on the matchup already. Beautiful timing attack. I was interested. I thought for a little bit Solar might be able to hang on, but you can see when the Roaches got into the base, there was no way for you to ever have like enough Ultras together with Lings to fight all at once, right? Ultras are actually kind of bad if it's just like a solo unit.
If it's just one of them, yeah, it's pretty bad. Like you said, being in between all the Zerg rally points from the different hatcheries is such a strong place to be with the Roaches. You pick off, units as they come in dribs and drabs.
Yeah.
And that's what he was able to do there. And like you say, just couldn't get all his units at once at the front. Yeah, great push.
It was, it's kind of like when you see Terran, if you just like sit on top of their factories or barracks. It's
right.
If you're there for like 30 seconds, it's like, well, they're never going to get anything out now, right?
Yep.
And it was kind of like when you get in between the third and the main, you're on top of that natural hatchery. Like things are just dying as they're rallied to wherever they need to go. Guys, one more plug here for the Patreon. It's patreon.com/revive SC2. And we hope we can earn your support. The money that you donate, if you sign up, it goes to the prize pool. It goes to the studio that we built and will continue to upgrade here. It goes to paying the staff. And so consider joining us here. The more you contribute, the more interaction you get in the tournament. We've got great votes on maps. By the way, I think we've been killing it. Our community has with the maps.
I love the maps. I think they've done a really good job with that. Voidstorm, the newest one, is so pretty, and I like all the 4-player maps we've had brought in. Here's a kind of overview. Old Sun Temple, Fear and Faith have come in. Maps I don't like to play on the ladder, but that I love to watch the pros play
I love to make other people play so I can
Yeah.
watch them. One of the ideas we had with the Patreon was basically we wanted to support, give back in a way that would make sense for what kind of fan you are. Some people are fans of the players, but they're not necessarily students of the game. Right? Some fans are students of the game, not so much fans of specific players, right? They just want to see good play, and that's why we also give you replays. The reality is, replay, that is the most valuable tool for learning. You can watch our casting and see the game in a produced way, or if you're a Patreon supporter, you can just go download it and kind of break it apart yourself.
Yeah, clicking around the map and checking exactly what you want to check is the best way to learn a build, for sure.
Anyways, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to continue on with Group B here in the RSL. I hope you chill out and not try to steal.
Welcome back, everybody. We are going back into our second match of the day. It's going to be Nightmare versus Maru. Pretty excited to start seeing some Protoss on the new patch. It's going to be our first introduction here in the RSL for a Protoss game. And I'm very curious to see what some of these players who got cooked up, because lots and lots of things have been changing with Protoss in terms of all of their mechanics and their macro and everything like that. So, yeah, very excited to see this.
Yeah, definitely the race that's changed the most, right?
Yeah.
When you alter such a fundamental mechanic of the race, like all the builds have to be relearned or rediscovered or remade. Everything's changed. On the flip side, we get to watch Maru, which is always a treat.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Maru, of course, someone who we always expect to go extremely far in all of our events. Had a bit of an underwhelming experience last season, unfortunately, but this time, of course, I'm sure he's trying to get as far as possible, as always. And well, who better than a first opponent of Nightmare? Because he has literally never lost a series against Nightmare in his entire career. So, yeah, I think Maru is going to be considered the favorite in this particular match.
He's like the new Shin.
Yeah.
Just another guy who's never been able to beat Maru for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
That's how good Maru is. You can see the maps at the bottom. We have At Eternity's Edge for set 1, then Ruby Rock, and then
Exarch.
And then Exarch.
Don't pull Tasteless.
I was fine with it until Tasteless said it the other way, and then that changed my brain. Yeah, Exarch will be the final map.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, At Eternity's Edge is our first one here, and it looks like a couple of very early SCVs going to get thrown out. It's just one, actually.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to RSL Season 6. I'm State, with me is Sturgeon, and we are continuing on in the playoffs with a TBT and a ZVZ today.
Oh, it's going to be exciting. Good to see Clem going to be playing some Terran versus Terran. Yeah, we've been watching his Protoss for a long time. Kind of curious how he's looking in the TBT matchup. And then, like you said, a classic coming up there with Rogue versus Lambo. It's going to be some good games, man.
Yeah, Clem, ByuN, Rogue, Lambo going to be the matches today. And it is really interesting that we are going to have Clem playing TBT. I haven't actually heard him talk about why he's playing TBT as opposed to PBT, because as somebody who's been playing a fair bit on the new patches, PBT feels kind of fine, you know? I mean, it's a little bit different now with a 300 cost command center, but PBT in general feels like one of the more playable matches. But for whatever reason, Clem just not feeling confident in his PBT these days. And I guess it does kind of make sense. There are a lot of changes you kind of have to wrap your head around. It might be better just to stick with your best race.
Yeah, that does make sense. It's kind of his main, what he knows, what he's used to. Could be some other reasons there. We haven't had the chance to pick his brain, but we do see the bracket here. Yesterday, Cyril dispatched of Shin. Just looking godlike, honestly, in that 3-0, looking untouchable. Everything just went his way, whether he's defending or attacking his pressures. He made it work, and he moves on to the semis. And then, of course, Hero took out Solar 3-1. That was a good series. And we have him in the other semis final match.
Yes, and this is the schedule for RSL Season 6. Today is Sunday, the 26th. So we're just past the halfway point here. As you're welcome to tune in on August 1st, August 2nd, the following weekend, as we build up to the big offline finals here for RSL at BlizzCon. September 13th, the grand finals with the top 2 players going to be there in a best of 7. So if you're going to BlizzCon in California, you can watch it at the Classic Game Stage. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be so exciting. I'm already thinking, like, who do I want to be there? Who's, like, the dream kind of finalist for the offline, you know, to bring StarCraft 2 back to the big stage? And, I mean, I'm looking at Cyril, Hero, and Clem as kind of the big 3 favorites going into this, but there's still a load of strong players. Rogue's been looking really good recently. Lambo seems to be getting far in the RSLs.
Yeah, Lambo's been looking absolutely incredible recently. Yeah. I'm really excited for a ZVZ with Rogue later on as we look at the broadcast timetable. Whether you're in Beijing, London, New York, Dallas, Los Angeles, or the Vatican, we've got you. I know the Pope, he's a big fan of the Chicago White Sox. Maybe he's a big fan of Clem, too.
I bet a lot of the people in the Vatican watch StarCraft 2. I mean, I bet they've got all their monitors up on the wall in the church there, just, you know, watching a sneaky TV2 before you go to the lunch sermon or whatever it is.
11 a.m. It's a pretty good time, you know. You sit down, have a nice little brunch right there, watch your StarCraft 2. Perfect time to tune in for some RSL.
Okay, guys, we have Archon Studio. They are the official partner of the RSL, and they have been since Season 1, sticking with us the whole time. They are the premier tabletop miniatures game company in the world, and they've made an awesome kind of thing here with the StarCraft tabletop game. We've got a bunch of the models in the studio. They're currently being painted, and we're looking forward to playing a game between us, you know, the casters and staff here later on in the year. But it looks amazing. Check them out over on their website. And, you know, if you're bored of Monopoly or Scrabble or whatever it is you play on family board game night, check it out.
Yeah, it could be a fun addition. And we also invite you to check out our Patreon. You guys, the Patreon supporters we already have, you've been spectacular voting on the maps, voting on the players. You've elevated every single season of RSL, and this tournament would not be the same without you. So thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts. And if you haven't joined us yet on Patreon, we invite you to check it out, take a look at the perks. It's really awesome.
Yeah, you can vote in players like Trap, Keep Gemini Happy, or whoever you so desire. We also have a bunch of merch, and if you're signed up to the Patreon, you get a 20% discount over there. You got your hoodies, your t-shirts, your general gaming merch, kind of Tastosis-based stuff, RSL stuff, StarCraft stuff. There's a whole array of different merch that you can get your hands on.
Yeah, we're also trying to build up the RSL YouTube. That's youtube.com/@ReviveSC2. And we found that really any form of interaction, whether it be liking, subscribing, commenting, turning on notifications, it helps feed this into the algorithm in YouTube so that players who, you know, play StarCraft 2 or just watch StarCraft 2 on YouTube, where the audience is huge, by the way. They might not even know that RSL is happening because they don't watch live StarCraft. I know this is very big on Twitch and the other platforms where we stream, but we want to make the YouTube bigger, so please check it out and support us.
Yeah, we also have all the spoiler-free VODs there. If you missed the live broadcast and you don't want to know, you don't want to get the results spoiled, that is the place to go. So definitely check that out. We are just getting ready to jump into the first game here. As we mentioned, it's going to be Clem versus ByuN. Who have you got your eye on here as the favorite, Gemini?
Gemini? I haven't been
you know
gone
what?
that
long. This is your fault. You were gone way too long. I've been next to Gemini every week. And you both play Protoss.
Look at this! Look at this, Sturgeon! How can you do this
That's
to
true.
me?
That is true. Gemini has not got that, but anyway, State.
No, to answer,
like I was saying, State. What are your predictions here?
To answer your question, I honestly have no idea because I haven't really seen much of Clem's TVT ever. I'm very familiar with Clem's PVT, but TVT, I don't know if I've seen any Clem TVTs really. Thinking back to it, he's been playing Protoss for so long in the versus Terran matchup. It just kind of, it is the way that I think of Clem as a player. So I know that Clem, his PVT is spectacular. As a Terran player versus Zerg and versus Protoss, he's spectacular. I have a big question mark about how he's going to be doing here versus ByuN.
Yeah, me too. I'm curious, what kind of style he's going to go for. ByuN can be very aggressive in all matchups, and TVT is no exception. So we could have a clash of styles here. As we look at the bracket once again, the winner of this will go on to face Serral in the semifinals. So not an easy draw, getting this top side of the bracket. But if you lose, I mean, it's not, there's still a bunch of good players down there in the lower bracket as well. So Rogue and Lambo, of course, will be competing to go up against Hero in another PvZ. So we get all the mirrors out the way now, and then we have some exciting semifinals here.
Yeah, there are so many mirrors early on here in the playoffs. Clem versus ByuN, Serral versus Shin, Rogue versus Lambo. The one non-mirror matchup we had was Hero versus Solar yesterday. I think we might even get another mirror matchup next week too, because I believe Solar is going to play. Don't quote me on this. I'm terrible with the way the brackets actually work, but I think it has to be the opposite side of the bracket. So Solar versus Rogue or Lambo, whichever player falls to the lower bracket, that's probably going to be happening there on August 1st. And there just hasn't been a lot of Protoss players advancing into the middle stages in the RSL. And I think a lot of that is just because there's so much to figure out with the way the Protoss mechanics have changed, specifically warp gates costing 50 more resources, the production timings being very different. It's a very fundamental change that we've had for Protoss, whereas Zerg, they're more about timings than they are about build orders, although of course build orders, they are important, just not to the same degree as Protoss. And with Terran, it's kind of the same macro, but now his TCs are cheaper.
Those CCs are cheap. Also, we did have 3 Protosses in Group C of the RSL this season, so Classic and Trap got eliminated there. So, Protoss has been struggling a little bit, getting used to the patch, and we also had 3 of them in the same group.
Oh yeah, that is funny.
So
and the only other Protoss player was Nightmare there in Group B, and he drew a group with Rogue, Solar, and Mara. That's a tough draw, man.
That is a very tough group. I mean, every group is really tough, I've got to say. GG Machine put on a good show this time, took his first set in the RSL.
Yeah.
Able to take out Bunny there, but still not able to get out of the group just yet. Looking forward to seeing more of him in the future. But yeah, just one Protoss remains. But it's Hero. So
yeah,
Protoss still might win this tournament.
You never know how deep Hero's going to go. I mean, he's won a ton of RSL events already. He very well could win this one, too, if he continues to play the way that he did yesterday. As folks, we'd love to jump into the match. We're just waiting for that lobby to get set up right now. So just bear with us for a little bit here. Just taking the bigger perspective, I want to see Hero get really deep in this tournament, just so we have parity amongst all 3 races heading into the upper bracket finals, going into the lower bracket finals. I think it makes things interesting, but also selfishly, as a Protoss player who's been playing a lot on the new patches, I'm kind of in need of builds. You
need those replays.
Yeah, I need those replays badly.
Yeah, I really want to see Hero versus Serral. I don't care where it happens. It could be upper bracket, lower bracket, whatever. I guess they could both go to the lower bracket. That's possible. But I would really love to see those 2 play each other and see how the very, very top level of PvZ is looking right now. Obviously, we've seen Hero take out Solar. We've seen Serral against some other Protosses in different tournaments. But I want to see a big, best of 5, best of 7 between those guys just to really get a feel for the matchup.
Yeah, the way Hero's been playing PvZ is very different. I was feeling a little bit down on PvZ coming into this season of RSL just because most of the games that I saw from players like Hero, from players like Classic, it's been SkyToss games where you just kind of play Void Rays. It's like the Void Ray patch from years bygone. And it's not very much fun. I like a lot more battling, a lot more skirmishes happening all over the map. And that was kind of the flavor of PvZ that we got between Hero and Solar. It's why I was so happy with the way the games went yesterday. So, yeah, Hero versus Serral, that would be an awesome match to cast if we get it, and we very well might with both of them in the upper bracket semifinals. But folks, Clem versus ByuN, our players are getting ready to kick off this best of 5 TVT series. That's right, Clem is going to be playing Terran versus ByuN. And it's going to be a little bit of a taste of Clem's TVT.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see how he's playing this matchup at the moment. We just see these players starting to lock in, get their gamer faces on. Clem looking very focused and pensive going into this game. ByuN calm for the moment, but as we know, as the series goes on, he will get more and more kind of emphatic and... Oh, never mind, he's yawning. He's listening to the broadcast aid.
All right, folks. Game number 1 loaded up here on Fear and Faith. So we have spawning down here in the blue. Blue is the red Terran player. What am I talking about?
Colors, how do they work?
The French Terran player. It's Clem beyond the red Terran in the top right. Oh,
yeah,
brutal.
So we'll have to see how much these 300 CC CCs come into play in this matchup. Whether we'll have more greedy builds coming out. You can definitely still be aggressive in this matchup, I feel like. And right away, we have a depot next to the tube over here. I like this from ByuN. I presume that blocks the worker from coming out. I have this map VO'd on ladder.
It has to.
There's no other reason you would do it, right?
The pylon certainly does. I would expect supply depot too.
Yeah.
It's interesting you ban this map on ladder though. So you play Zerg Sturgeon. What's your reason for banning Fear and Faith?
I don't like 4-player or 3-player maps. I just ban both of those and BlackRock because it's the worst Zerg map. And then, yeah, I just like your standard maps or, a cheeky gold-based map is fine or whatever. But
so Old Sun Temple 2, the other 4-player map with like the 3 spawn. Or I guess your opponent, it's like a 3-player map basically with the way the spawns work. That's another veto for you?
Yep, and then BlackRock because that map just has too many rocks. Just too many rocks, too many like side blockers, the grass.
The rocks I can live with, even though it is way too many rocks. But yeah, the line of sight blockers there on BlackRock, and then also in TVP, just the amount of ledges and cliffs that Terrans can drop on in the middle of the map.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Lost Temple from Wings of Liberty. It's the absolute worst.
Yeah, and taking a 5th base on that map, that is not easy. But never mind that. We are getting this game going here. We see right away we have a Reaper on the side of ByuN, whereas a Marine is coming out for Clem. Going to be throwing down that factory just a little bit faster here.
Yeah, Marine opening, so a little bit more gas here for Clem. So it's interesting to me that both players are going for a 2-gas opening here, the fast factory.
Not looking to abuse those cheaper CCs just yet. Going to be going into the tech nice and quickly.
Yeah, and we were talking about this a little bit heading into the games today, but TVT is one of these matchups which, since we've had all the changes, going down to an 8-worker start and then the subsequent balance patches from there, I've been more in player mode than in caster mode as somebody laddering. I've been watching a lot of Protoss Pro games. Haven't really been watching a lot of TVTs or ZVZs, so I'm very curious about what the matchup is going to look like, especially with the change of the 300 minerals CC. So I've been more focused in on just trying to get a feel for the game from my perspective as somebody who's playing Protoss, right? But I have to imagine, the 8-worker start already, it's not going to be too big of a difference for TVT, but 300 mineral cost CCs have to kind of mess with the build orders a fair bit, right?
Yeah, they'll definitely speed things up going into those macro games. The Reaper jumps in, going to actually die to the 2 Marines. Well positioned there from Clem. Able to take that out, and ByuN's actually going for a Reaper Hellion build. So you want to keep every unit alive so you can actually put them to good use and get some damage with them later.
Yeah, interesting to me that Clem also is not going for a command center here. In fact, with the starport done already, I imagine this is just going to be a 1-base push coming in from Clem as he's sending the first scouting SCV across the map. Clem still hasn't scouted yet. He did not make a Reaper. It's just Marines, so it's going to be a double SCV scout. Wants to eliminate the possibilities. Yeah, double tube scout. He needs to know where ByuN spawned because this is going to be a 1-base play coming out from Clem. I don't think he's going to try to expand this game unless the push fails. He's going to try and knock ByuN out early.
Yeah, very interesting. We were wondering how his TVT's looking, and in game number 1 here, he's going to be choosing a very aggressive build. He's making tanks, he's making medevacs, he's making Marines. Soon, I'm sure he'll start making workers. He's only on 18 at the moment, 5 behind, so he's got to get a lot of damage done with this. He does see the Reaper and the Hellions moving across the map here, and here comes the first medevac.
Yeah, first medevac about to spot the Hellions and the Reapers here. Marines have to be careful on the high ground. I don't think there's too many of them right now, but of course with 2 siege tanks in the medevac, ByuN, he recognizes the threat. He is going to be pulling back.
Yeah, this is insane. I guess he's just going to try and fly that medevac right outside the base of ByuN and just siege those tanks up and, start wailing away on that base.
And with reactor Vikings behind this, it kind of reminds me of how in TBT before, hold that thought actually, Siege Tank's dropping here, getting a lot of damage done. Already take that one Reaper, one Hellion, a little bit damaged too.
Ooh.
There are 4 Marines ready to intercept that medevac, and actually the fight comes through, but the Marine spread there for Clem was pretty good. The Hellions didn't get the big splash damage shots they needed, and now ByuN, these 3 units, they're isolated outside the natural expansion. How much does he actually have to defend?
Cyclone gets a lock on, but it's not the best. The medevac gets away pretty quick, and these tanks, so difficult to deal with. The SCV's pulled already, and it looks like Clem might just be taking this first game very quickly here. What a push.
Wow. And
Wow.
that is a killer push coming out from Clem in game number 1. I was going to say, it kind of reminds me of how in TBT, in the 12 worker start, we would have a similar push without stim pack, where you push in with siege tanks and sometimes 2-star port Vikings, just on 2 command centers. This is like the hyper-accelerated version of that push. It almost looks like a TVP build from like Wings of Liberty, you know?
Yeah. And Clem had a smile on his face after that game. That's the best way you can start out a series, right? You go for a 1-base build, and you just kill the guy, like, instantly. I really like that choice from him, being aggressive in the first game. It works out, and, I mean, I wonder what ByuN is thinking about that. Just, what could he do differently after he spots the medevac halfway across the map?
Yeah, I'm thinking about the same thing, and I'm not sure there's much that you could do to hold it if you scout it with, like, the Hellions and the Reapers. If you see the first medevac already moving across the map, it feels like it's too late.
It's pretty late already,
You can't change very much from that point. I wonder how much of that goes back to the first Reaper getting sniped, because if he had found some way to get into the main base of Clem, then he's able to spot the double gas, he sees no command center, he sees a factory and potentially even a starport. That's a big if he's able to get the scout, but I feel like that missing information is really kind of the Achilles heel for his defense there.
Yeah, indeed. And then the other Reaper getting picked off by the tanks, you know, in the middle of the map as well. Just a couple, you know, a unit here, a unit there, and suddenly you have 2 siege tanks in your base, no way to deal with them. And yeah, Clem just takes that first game super convincingly. We'll be moving on to Ruby Rock for map number 2. So obviously a 2-player map, so it's going to be a little bit easier to scout that kind of thing.
Yes.
I don't think we'll see something exactly like that again.
Yeah, I think we could see some aggression from Clem or ByuN moving on in the series, but you're absolutely right. It won't be as effective as what we saw there on Fear and Faith, because you know, not knowing the spawn of your opponent, not being able to get the Reaper Scout in there because it's getting across the map so late too. Right. It's a big boon there for Clem as we hop into map number 2. Ruby Rock, ByuN spawning in the bottom right as the red Terran, Clem, the blue Terran in the top left.
Yeah, I also think the build choice of ByuN doesn't really match well into that. Like neither Reapers nor Hellions. That's like a build where you want to be killing workers, right? Like you hope your opponent expanded and you can get in, get some damage, expand behind it yourself, get ahead economically. But they don't do well with killing siege units, you know, like tanks, killing mech units. So yeah, maybe just a bad lineup in build choices, and also the 4-player map coming into it, making it more difficult to scout. So I would be surprised to see that again, but who knows?
Oh, Clem's going to be going command center first.
All right, so from 1 base to CC first.
Man, I like this mix-up coming in from Clem.
That's
300
wild.
minerals, 111
Dude.
CC. I can't even remember the last time that I saw CC first in TVT, just because, especially on the 12 record start, so much of the matchup was about early game aggression. You know, 2 Reaper builds, or 2-Rax Reaper builds, I should say, were so popular. And I remember even asking some players after the GSL groups what they thought about the build, as ByuN is going to be going likely for a 2-Rax Reaper build here. And the players would tell me, oh, no, it's a macro build. Like, you put on a lot of pressure, but you can't transition out of it. It's not an all-in by any stretch. And now here on the 8-warrior start, especially with a 300 mineral command center, Clem going to be testing the waters with a CC first. And I am so curious about how this is going to line up versus 2-Rax Reaper, because it feels like it should just be a build order win here for ByuN. But does Clem have a trick to defend?
I mean, if you want to know if CC first can hold a double Rax Reaper push, this is the game to watch. If anyone can make it happen, it's Clem. We'll have to see what his plan here is. He's gone for the double gas as well. I wonder if ByuN will save some Reapers up here or just send them right across the map. I guess you don't want to hide them for too long in case your opponent gets enough units to defend. So right away, the Reapers will move across the map. And we see the first one is on the way for Clem, but I mean, this just looks so dangerous.
Yeah, he's going to have to pull SCVs. He's going to need a bunker, I think. He's got to defend here on the high ground as the first Reaper hops in. And interestingly sees no Reaper here for Clem, so he might think that Clem is elsewhere on the map. And so ByuN's not even actually checking the natural expansion. He doesn't know where Clem's Reaper is. He doesn't know that Clem's Reaper just now finished.
Yeah, he might be expecting something wild like a proxy or something. He didn't confirm. You see there's no factory in the main, no other tech. He doesn't see the CC. But now he will go towards the natural. And now he's going to figure it out.
Yeah, now Clem sees the command center here, the natural expansion. It's 2 Reapers versus 1. But Clem raises the depot right now, and surprisingly, Clem, his factory is actually faster than ByuN's here, but will he be able to hold? Second Reaper about to pop for Clem. SCVs will likely need to be pulled here.
Yeah, damage already happening. 3 SCVs go down. I love that he hit some at the natural there. The first Reaper goes down, though, for Clem. And, I mean, now it's just SCVs plus 1 Reaper against multiple on the side of ByuN here. How do you kind of stabilize here? He does have a Hellion on the way. If you can get the Hellion out and get some good shots, some good AoE, that can help. But it's looking like it's going to be a fair while until that comes out.
Yeah, okay, Reapers for ByuN trying to focus fire down. The Reaper here of Clem. Oh, really good micro by Clem. He's able to keep the Reaper alive for a longer time, but my goodness, ByuN, both those Reapers on 1 hit are going to survive.
Dude, if both those Reapers go down, Clem might have just won that game, but as it stands, the pressure continues. He has taken his own CC behind this as ByuN jumps up into the Hellion shot. Beautiful shots there. I like that he kept the SCVs near the cliff as well. So he will hold this, but if we look at the work counts, they're actually even right now.
Yeah, I mean, Clem, he's lost a lot of workers, but you can afford to lose SCVs with this. You went CC first, you're getting the extra income, not just from the SCVs being produced, but also from the mules. And so Clem, he's going to stabilize right now. ByuN, he's not done getting damage confirmed here on the natural expansion Clem just yet as he pushes in, but I say that and Clem actually comes back with the second Hellion. He's able to clean all of this up. 29 SCVs now for Clem to the 27 of ByuN. That command center not even done yet.
Yeah, Clem's position looks great. He's dropping mules off 2 bases right now, while ByuN doesn't even have his orbital down there at the natural yet. Starports on the way for both players. Actually finished in at exactly the same time, which is pretty funny considering how we got here. Clem going into his Cyclone behind this as well, whereas it's going to be a tank for ByuN. And where are the units of Clem right now? They just come down the ramp. Some more SCVs may fall if these line up here. A lot of damage SCVs. This is very dangerous for Clem. 6 more SCVs go down.
6 more SCVs. Fall Cyclone going to be able to dispatch these Reapers here in the main base of Clem. In fact, 8 SCVs in total, as ByuN was finally able to get those kills with low HP SCVs.
That is a wild income graph. It's up and down, up and down.
Those are all the SCVs getting pulled, not just getting killed, too. And so things are going to kind of normalize now. You know, there's been a little bit more factory production time here for Clem overall as opposed to ByuN, but the starports, they finished at just about the same time. The word counts are essentially even, 32 to 33 now, with ByuN having a very slight edge.
Yeah, ByuN's going to go ahead and take his 3rd CC a bit quicker than Clem here. He was going into a Liberator, and he does have this little drop coming over. A Viking spawns just in time to see this, though. Going to have to quickly load everything out here to not lose it. It's already so weak, though. You don't want to lose this Viking. This Medevac, excuse me, gets away on 2 HP there.
Yeah, really tricky micro there from Clem. He wanted to keep the Medevac in range of the Viking so the Cyclone could try and take it out, but he knows he cannot withstand any more damage coming in from that Viking, so eventually has to pull it back out with 2 HP. ByuN parrying that pressure quite well. And now Clem, it looks like he's posturing to go for another siege tank push. He's adding in his 2nd starport, so this is going to be more akin to the kind of 2-port Viking siege tank push that we were talking about there in game number 1.
Yeah, no, he was actually supply blocked there for a moment, but 3 Vikings in production at a time for Clem. Stim on the way for ByuN, and he does have that 3rd CC, but I think it's going to be difficult for him to ever land that in the near future. Obviously, he would love to, get his eco ahead. But I don't think Clem's going to let him. This Liberator will move around the outside of the map. Does escape the army for now, but this Medevac actually gets found. All of this going to go down eventually. Good pick off here by Clem.
Yeah, that Cyclone getting the lock on onto the Medevac. And ByuN's going to see if he can try and catch this army or at least establish a position here. I don't think he's aware that Clem is going for what is effectively an all-in build with the 2-port Vikings. There isn't a transition lined up here for Clem just yet. He wants to get damage done with this push right now.
Luckily, Stim did finish there, so even if you lift the racks, you have that. The Liberator on the other side of the map going to get some SCVs. 3 Vikings coming out on that side, though. We'll be able to deal with that eventually. And the siege tank's forced to reposition here. Going to go round to the natural. It looks like Clem has more in the air for the moment.
Oh, ByuN, is he going to go for an SCV pull? Looks like he's considering it. I feel like this is a little bit mistimed, though. You know, the SCVs, they didn't have anything to really back them up, despite the fact that Clem's the siege tanks are so low on HP. There's just no firepower for ByuN with that pull. Instead, he loses a lot of SCVs. He loses the siege tank and the Marines there on the low ground. Clem looking to be in a really good position. If he can maintain air superiority,
He definitely can at the moment. The SCVs now are pulled. He decides this is the time, but there's nothing with them. It's just SCVs. So they all just get shredded. 23 go down, and Clem in a dominant position here in game number 2, firing on that CC with his tanks. How do you ever stop this push?
yeah, the Vikings land too. Even more damage coming in on that command center. Again, all the way down to 26 SCVs. The Liberator back at the home of Clem's also been cleaned up as GG is called. Clem up 2-0 with 2 fast builds in this best of 5.
That I was expecting like some long kind of macro, you know, cheaper CC TVTs. No, we are getting some aggressive builds out here today. I love the CC first, after the one base all in. Clem kind of bringing the mind games here, you know, mixing it up. And ByuN, I mean, he went for the 2 racks, but just wasn't able to get enough damage done, it felt like.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that Clem was able to defend with a CC first versus 2 Rax Reaper, and it wasn't a proxy 2 Rax Reaper. ByuN definitely could have cut some SCVs and been more aggressive with it if he wanted to. Also, you know, in terms of the movement with the Reaper as well, he was suspicious about Clem potentially having Reapers on the map.
Yeah.
That's why he didn't scout the natural expansion very quickly. He didn't identify it with CC first that fast. Maybe he would be able to get a little bit more damage done if he immediately knew it was a CC first, so might be some missed opportunity there. But in any case, Clem with a CC first, making use of that 300 mineral cost command center to really deliver a stunning win.
Yeah, I think if ByuN just like rallies both his barracks across the map and doesn't go check for proxies, he's going to get a lot more damage. But obviously there's risks to that, right? If you are being proxied yourself, you might just die back home. So I understand the fear of like, hey, no, I'm going to go check if there's proxies and then I can do my aggression afterwards. But that gave Clem the time he needed.
Folks, if you are watching and you enjoyed this show, we invite you to join us on patreon.com/ReviveSC2. There are all sorts of perks available that you see on screen. You can vote on the maps. You guys have been spectacular about that. You can get all of the replay packs. If you're trying to figure out how to learn 8 worker starts, this is one of the best places to do it with the replay packs, let me tell you. Check it out, patreon.com/RSL. And that's going to be it for us for just a little bit. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, this best of 5 between Clem and ByuN will continue.
Commit to this and get a lot. You know, whenever you see a ton of Hellions made, you are not, that is always not going to be tanks. It'll be, you know, less money that could have gone to Marines for, or barracks for Marines. So let's see what kind of playstyle he wants to come out here with. Only 1 Hellion, by the way, on the reactor.
Yeah, that is interesting.
That's why even put it there? Okay, he does make a second one. I was going to say, this can't be a build where you add a Hellion and make 1. It's like,
just totally mind gaming your opponent. It's like, actually, I'm only going to have a singular Hellion.
You ended up to stop
10?
2 Hellions,
No.
but I only have 1. Some egg on your face. Now you have just a few extralings that could have been drones. 12 lanes being made.
And a Baneling Nest. So it looks like Rogue's actually going to be pretty aggressive. He's not got a 3rd base just yet either. He's seeing the wall is actually incomplete as well. Maru is, of course, going to be needing to fill that up. So he needs to make sure that that's going to be really, you know... Oh, wow, he's actually leaving with the factory as well, of course. Needs to put a barracks there, but that means that if this hits at a correct time, that barracks is going to have less health as well.
Yeah, now he's going to see there's not that many drones here.
Yeah.
The drones are actually... Is he going to lose all of them? He loses at least 3.
Well, that was not great. And wow, that got put down at the perfect moment right there. That bunker was a second away from letting all those lings in. In fact, actually, there's still a gap. There's SCVs moving on the left-hand side. They got out from the wall. He's going to have to be forced to cancel this barracks anyway, so he's going to be able to get through. The Banelings have not yet shown their face, so that's going to also be a very difficult thing to deal with from Maru, as there's really nothing to be able to kill them.
Yeah, I love the Baneling egg, basically morphine where they could have plugged that up with the barracks. He's going to get in here. The Banelings are going to come through. And the bunker fills up, but he basically just sidesteps it. He's going to pop open the entrance, and that's going to be a GG. Whoa.
Variety.
Yeah, that was crazy. I love the Baneling morph.
Yeah, that was nice,
Rax
actually. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Really just like tiny attention to detail right there just to really make sure that the wall doesn't get plugged back up.
Yeah.
So yeah, very nicely done there from Rogue. I mean, Maru definitely had the read, of course, because he saw how few drones there were. You can see that he was, kind of trying to get the wall up in time, but it just, the scout didn't quite happen early enough. He was, unfortunately lifting that factory over.
Was that not fully walled in?
It didn't look like it. No, it wasn't. There was still like
the bunker
a
on the
little
left
gap.
didn't actually plug it up.
No, I think actually, I can't remember exactly how. I think there was. I saw SCVs like moving past the bunker on the left-hand side.
Okay.
So yeah, I think something
I thought they were already on the other side.
Yeah,
but,
something looked a little strange with how that wall was working. But
yeah.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate there for Maru, but that didn't really end up mattering anyways. He was just didn't have anything to defend against it. Like the Hellion scouted, but it was just not quite enough in time. The factory had already left, so that barracks was already low on HP because it was only halfway done constructing.
Yeah.
So yeah, a bit unfortunate there, but yeah, Rogue picking up a very quick win.
Yeah, interesting build order selection there from Maru. I guess we don't really get to see where it would have ended up, but it did seem like, with a lower worker count, it's a little bit harder to have this defenses secured, to get the economic engine going quickly there. I'm curious what Maru could have done to maybe hold that off a little bit better here.
Yeah, of course, if he had gone for like a normal Reaper expand, then of course that Reaper can get that scout possibly much earlier, which is a big, big difference. So going for that many Marines so fast, you're just kind of taking the gamble that they're not going to be doing something like that. Maybe you just
have to have a bunker there no matter what. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it seemed like Maru was really just trying to you just cut some corners and just get some nice efficient build order.
I don't know. I mean, it did seem, well, I guess it's hard to say if the Ling Baneling bust was like impromptu, like he saw that and went, I'm going to go for this, or if this was like a premeditated thing.
Exactly. There's no reason that he needs to do it if he sees like a normal Reaper expand or something like that. So yeah, that could have been a totally reactive play.
You just have like too much infrastructure up in the front, and I think I can just basically crack this open.
Yeah.
And so that means that Rogue is going to take a 1-0 lead here, possibly going 2-0 here or 2-1 here. Maru going to have to go to the losers match if he doesn't win these. These next two.
Yeah, some very fast games we're having today, man. This is being a bit of a speed run so far.
Yeah, what is it? It's like 7:06. We started an hour ago. It's so weird.
We're like almost 2/3 the way done.
I was talking to State about this because we cast, RSL and GSL. We were like, how is GSL so much longer?
Welcome back, everybody. We are continuing on in this best of 5 between Clem and ByuN. Clem up to a fast 2-0 lead in this best of 5.
Clem still got it, man. Still looking very good in TVT. With two very different builds as well. A super aggressive one, and then a CC first, holding that double racks play from ByuN. Whew, Clem is good, man.
Yeah, he's really a killer in TVT. He's playing like hyper aggressive styles. Even on the back of the CC first, just kind of using that early economy to catapult him into a potent 2-star port timing. It's very fun to see. I wonder if he's going to continue going on this path here versus ByuN, because going up 2-0 in a best of 5 series, it gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of how you want to play. You can kind of now have 3 lives to the 1 life of ByuN. ByuN has to win every single map to be able to survive and move on into the upper bracket semifinals. Will we see some cheese from Clem? Will we see him go for some kind of macro play? Where does he take it from here?
Well, like you said, he is the world is his oyster. He can do whatever he wants for 2 games and get serious in the last one, or he can just play normal and try to win that way. He has a lot of options available to him. This is at Eternity's Edge here. I didn't think this was the map we were going into, but yep, it is. So going to be easy to scout your opponent on this map compared to Fear and Faith, for example. So we'll see what each of these players have as we load in. ByuN in the top left in the red, and Clem in the bottom right in blue.
And already we've seen 2 kind of different builds from Clem, but they converge at the same point in a way, right? In game number 1, he went for a straight up 1 base play. There was no second command center built by Clem. But it eventually built up to a siege tank push that hit super fast with 2 tanks and a medevac. And then in game number 2, it was the much more classic kind of build that we had from Clem with the CC first, which he's going for once more here.
Wow.
Gonna be another 111 CC on 14 supply.
Dude, look how fast you can get this CC now.
Yeah.
109. Woo.
It's pretty quick.
That is a fast CC, and I can't believe he's doing this 2 games in a row. I mean, that is very bold.
Yeah, and ByuN, he's pulling out his second SCV. He might be going 2 racks again. I think he is.
He says, let's run that back. Let's see how that's supposed to go. And this time, let's see if he's more aggressive with it, or if he, is going to check for proxies, or if he will just rally his units across the map ASAP here and really put Clem's defense to the test.
I think no matter what, ByuN, when he spots, if he jumps right into the main base before checking the natural expansion and sees the barracks, I think he will check to see if there's going to be a command center on the low ground. He doesn't want to try and... He doesn't want to make... It's not even really a mistake, but make the same play that he did in the previous game where he was, a little bit more safe in case that Clem had Reapers on the map and wanted to make sure that he had both of his Reapers together in the center before pushing forward. You know that Clem has these CC first builds up his sleeve now. You have to check whether there's going to be a CC.
Yeah, it was kind of a magical defense last game, like a lot of things. A lot of interactions came down to the wire, could have gone either way and changed the game a lot. So let's see how things pan out this time round as the first Reapers start to spawn here. And they will be making their way across the map. 2 more in production. Clem's Reaper on the way here. And yeah, I'm just so curious if he can make this defense happen again.
Reapers be going straight into the main base from Clem once more. Should get there right around the time that Clem's Reaper is finishing up. And ByuN, are you going to check for another command center? Yeah, you got to. No, he doesn't. Not yet. Again, playing it a little bit safe.
Okay, he's going to go around and check. Like you have to check it somehow, right?
Yeah.
Maybe worried that the Reaper might just pop out and catch him there. But okay, now he knows. So let's see what his plan is from here. Is he going to just join up with those 2 other Reapers there, go into the main? I think you're always guaranteed some damage. Like Clem will have to pull SCVs to hold this.
Oh, he's going to wait for 3 Reapers. I think this is a very smart move.
Yeah.
2 Reapers, it might be a little bit hard for you to be able to DPS that Reaper down fast. Clem, he catches it. Oh, no, a little bit of miss micro there on the Reaper for Clem.
The second one comes out right in front of the Reapers.
Losing the first Reaper like that is so painful. You need to have that DPS behind the front line of the SCVs. Now ByuN just going to continue to drop these grenades, keep microing, try and get as much damage done as possible. Clem, he's just trying to hold on until he gets a Hellion. But ByuN's already been able to take down 4 SCVs.
Yeah, the Hellion is here now, though. There's 4 Reapers on the side of ByuN, though. They're going to kill SCVs so quickly, even going into that place that Clem can't see. He doesn't have vision of it. And he's going to jump onto the Reaper of Clem. He gets it. The Hellion may fall as well. Things starting to snowball here. 12 SCVs gone down, and only 1 Reaper remains. But another Hellion pops just in time. And it looks like Clem may just survive here, but at what cost? He's down 5 workers. ByuN has his CC just finishing up back home.
This is a lot more damage than Clem sustained in the previous game. Reaper and Hellion able to get into the main base right now. Marine and Hellion going to DPS down the units here at ByuN.
Oh, is he going to get the Hellion?
Oh, he gets the Hellion. I thought Clem was going to be able to get that final shot off in time, but no.
Wow.
Everything is breaking ByuN's way right now.
Here come 3 more, and the Hellion's actually ran all the way around. Not here for the defense right now. The Marine dies instantly. And okay, looks like Clem in a lot of trouble here in game number 3. Gonna bring some more SCVs off the line to hold this push. That 1 Hellion survives on red HP. Nice micro there to keep that alive for a while. And that looks like it is going to be every unit from ByuN finally getting cleared up. There was 1 Reaper that jumped down the cliff here in the red HP. I can't believe how high Clem's worker count is, by the way. Obviously, you went for CC first, so he's been making workers the whole time. But I was expecting to look down and see like 5 or 10 difference, But it's pretty similar.
Yeah, it's pretty similar, but I feel like the damage, the damage came much faster than it ended the previous game. And so Clem's going to be feeling it a little bit more here in the mid game, because thinking back to that previous map, yes, the worker counts were similar the same way they are right now, but the supplies were also similar. That's not the case here. ByuN's actually up 6 supply just because Clem had to pull so many more SCVs because the SCVs also died earlier. It's just less mining overall.
Yeah, and he's going into a 3rd CC and a Raven. Super kind of greedy, it feels like, from Clem. This 1 Hellion will just survive, but once again, SCVs had to be pulled here. They have to, you know, repair this Hellion, and all this is not mining time that you're using, right? So the income advantage goes ByuN's way by quite a large margin, but on the backside of it, Clem will have, you know, Ravens and Interference Matrix, which is nice.
Yeah, this time Clem going for the greedier play. He's been very aggressive in the first 2 games of this best of 5 series, but here in map number 3, trying to go for a very fast third command center as ByuN is now dropping into the main base of Clem, trying to find even more damage. The action's just been non-stop.
Yeah, this has been a wild game, and ByuN just coming in here trying to get more damage. Locks onto that Hellion, it will fall instantly. Here comes the Raven, though. That CC just needs a little tap. Just one last nail to bang in with a hammer there. And all the SCVs off the line here for ByuN right there. I didn't actually see what happened.
Auto turret from a Raven.
Ah, the auto turret harass. Okay, that makes sense.
Cycle going to drop in now. ByuN trying to find even more damage. Word count's still very even, by the way. But I feel like it's just been chaos in the main base of the natural expansion here for Clem. I mean, these SCVs have spent so much time just idling, trying to defend.
Yeah, this Liberator will go down fairly quickly. Nice pick off by Clem. The medevac finally has to leave. The Viking, though, giving chase, is actually going to be able to pick this off.
Wow.
The 2 Marines just die. Oh, no. Did they land on the lower ground?
No, I think they fell on the medevac, so...
Oh, yeah, they just died. Okay.
Yeah, Clem's fighting back quite well now, you know. The supply lead, it's getting smaller and smaller. The third command center already done here for Clem and pumping out SCVs, whereas ByuN's just finished. He's transforming it now into an orbital command. Upgrades are a little bit faster here for ByuN. That's one of the main advantages that he's going to have moving forward into the mid-game. But things seem to have evened out, you know. The early stages of the pressure that ByuN was exerting absolutely went his way, but later on, ByuN maybe bit off a little bit more than he could chew, with Clem just absolutely locking down the defense in the main base of the natural expansion.
Yeah, that Raven just hanging out there in the airspace. Clem does have his 3rd CC, but not able to land it just yet. All of Clem's army is down here trying to catch this Cyclone and free his Raven, but it almost goes down there. Just does not, and he will pick up the Cyclone.
Nice catch there by Clem. ByuN seems like he just didn't have a scan to actually confirm the kill on that Raven. Now ByuN, ooh, a lot of medevacs loading up here in the center of the map. Okay, it's actually just 2. For some reason, I thought it was 3 or 4. I thought it was a whole army here of ByuN getting ready to move, but no, just gonna be a double drop.
These Ravens making a nuisance of themselves, still flying around, trying to do whatever they can. The Marine is out here on the map looking for this drop. Looks like the medevacs will fly just past him. Not sure if he actually saw that or not. They're going straight into the main base. The auto turret harass continues, but what is here for Clem to defend?
Not much, and also with Stimpack not being done, it's going to take quite a while for the Bio to actually get up here into the main base, so ByuN finding a lot of time to get damage done. 8 SCVs have already fallen, now he's going for the engineering base. Does he actually have the time to take them out? No, instead just opting to snipe out a Raven. Stim still not done here for Clem, so ByuN, he's taking a pretty favorable trade.
Yeah, there is a Viking here, though, so these units are on a one-way trip. I don't think they'll be able to get home. Maybe that one medevac gets out there.
Yeah, with just 3 Marines, though.
With just 3, yeah. But 9 SCVs, a Raven. ByuN did get something for it.
Yeah, I think it was a very favorable trade there for ByuN, and he's also pulled Clem a little bit out of position. And ByuN going to try and use that opportunity to siege up here, but, oh, man, if Clem sees this... Oh, no, that siege tank shot getting a lot of damage done here on Clem's army. Clem absolutely does have the numbers to take this out, but the positioning certainly better for ByuN at the beginning.
Yeah, he's kind of cut Clem's army off away from his natural here, but Clem just has too much. Lands the Vikings, takes this engagement, going to get another siege tank here. And somehow, despite all the back and forth, all the damage Clem's taken throughout this game, for the first time, it looks like he's in somewhat of a, a good position here.
Yeah, that was a very nice defense of the push between the natural expansion and the third base. Supply still very even. Clem only just now starting the armory, so ByuN, that upgrade advantage going to be compounding a little bit here. Seems like it'll be 40 or 50 seconds for that +2, excuse me, infantry weapons upgrade advantage.
Man, I wish we could just make a Viking to deal with this Raven. It's been flying around dropping turrets for so long. But ByuN going into his 2-2 already. Got that eBay, double eBay going nice and quickly in this game. Another CC on the way for Clem as well, looking to play a long macro game, getting his sensor towers, getting everything set up. Another drop comes into the natural here.
Yeah, ByuN just relentless with the aggression. Clem going to clean this one up, though, without too much problem. A couple of Marines falling as well as 2 SCVs, but he gets a medevac and the whole squadron of ByuN's forces there. So a nice pickup for our French Terran player, who's honestly been very resilient over the last couple of minutes. I mean, the defense has just been near impeccable after the early start.
Yeah, very impressive. And is his armory, did his armory get remade? It stopped making for a while?
Oh no, it's still the natural expansion. He hasn't, the SCV got sniped. I'm not sure if Clem realized it.
Yeah, that could be a big issue later as he goes to make his own 2-2. He's got barracks unfinished in the main as well. Another double drop comes in, going to pick off this turret, run around here. Okay, he sees the army is there and gets out.
I think Clem thinks that he started 2-2. I think he likely has the engineering base on a hotkey. I think he probably pressed the buttons to start 2-2, but it's just not, it's not coming. And I think only now is he realizing it. So this is going to be a full upgrade advantage here for ByuN. This window is going to be absolutely huge.
Yeah, now he starts 2-2, but ByuN's is all, I mean, the infantry weapons is finished. The armor is shortly to follow. He's going to be so far behind in upgrades. And in Marine versus Marine heavy armies, those upgrades are absolutely crucial.
Yeah, ByuN has a lot of time to play with this upgrade advantage to try and eke out value. But we'll see if he's able to capitalize on it. You know, Clem, his defense has been solid so far. Who's to say he can't actually defend with 1-1 versus 2-2?
Yeah, both players have their fourth base now, getting a planetary there. Looks like we may be seeing a longer game here as ByuN once again positioning aggressively on the map, looking towards this fourth base. I love the way Clem is sending out little Marines here and there down the attack paths to see where ByuN's army is coming from, get that scouting info, and then he can set up his tanks in position to meet the army.
Yeah, and ByuN's getting ready to push, but it's actually Clem who has the larger army supply right now. Clem seems like he stopped SCVs right around 71, 72, and said prioritizing military production, whereas ByuN already nearing 80 SCVs and continuing to produce more out of 3 of these command centers. So the army supply is like 20% higher here for Clem. Interference Matrix, I think, did finish researching, by the way. So a couple of those disables can be charged up here on ByuN siege tanks.
Yeah, and worth noting that ByuN has no Vikings in his army, no Raven, so all the area of superiority is in Clem's favor. ByuN is just going to shove here, going to push into this tank line. This is crazy. So many Marines getting shelled by the tanks. They have to fall back. Medevacs start to fall for ByuN as well. 2 tanks left, but they will get liberated and sent packing.
Oh, that was a perfect defense for Clem. Actually opting for the armor shredding missile instead of going for the disable, I think was a smart move. It mitigated a lot of the upgrade advantage that ByuN has. And ByuN, when you don't have air superiority like this, you kind of just need to charge in. You can't really play this finesse game of trying to snipe their Vikings, trying to maintain extra vision, and just slow push in. That's not your game if you're just on siege tanks, Marines, and medevacs. You have to go for these big frontal assaults. But Clem, I mean, the defense has just been so good. He's now max, he's now building up a bank. The 2-2 upgrades are about to finish. 3-3 won't be too far behind ByuN because I think ByuN was hoping to end the game before 3-3.
Yeah, that was definitely a big 2-2 time, and he went for, and then he's like, oh, it doesn't work. Okay, well, I have to go into 3-3 now. Clem, though, going to be sending out a 4 medevac drop. The armies will meet here, but I don't think ByuN wants to commit into this without the tanks. The Marines have to be careful. They're taking so many shots from the tanks.
Yeah, ByuN's distracted by the drop in his main base. 4 medevacs unloading here on top of the production, so ByuN loses the skirmish there on the front, and now has to contest with 4 medevacs worth of Marines in the main.
Yeah, he's losing so much here. Brings some tanks and Marines home to help out, but he's already lost a lot. The army's in the middle as well. I think Clem has the advantage here. The Vikings are going to land, help out on the ground. Only 2 tanks here on the watchtower. Clem will siege up, take this 1 tank out, and take a decisive victory both in the main and on the map.
This command center not yet turned into a planetary fortress, so it will lift off and fly away. The one good thing that ByuN has going for him is that he has the gold base in the bottom left, and that has not yet been scouted. It's fully saturated right now with 12 SCVs, so the mineral income here for ByuN, it should start to see a little bit of an increase relative to Clem. The problem is, basically every fight for the last 7 or 8 minutes has gone Clem's way.
Yeah, he's been playing extremely well. Going to pick off this reactor on the racks. Just whatever small damage you can get, any edge in limiting your opponent's production. Clem will take it. Going to get out of there with the Marines. And I feel like you said, if he finds out about the gold base, this game may end pretty quickly. But if ByuN's able to mine from that for a while, he can definitely try to eke out an advantage. He will have 3-3 quicker. It's going to be a small window where he can fight with 3-3 versus the 2-2. Actually, 24 SCVs on this base right now. That's what you call oversaturated state.
Yeah, that is super saturated right there on the goal. But I mean, look at the mid-roll income. You know, Mule's add a little bit of noise to the data here, but it's 3.2K for ByuN, 2K or so here for Clem. So the mid-roll income is certainly a lot higher for our Red Terran player. He's also up in SCVs.
Dude, ByuN has 94 Marines and 5 tanks. That is a wild army. He's just going so Marine heavy, and 5 more CCs being added in here. That's 1,500 minerals staying.
Yeah, that's 500 more, less minerals than it was on the previous patch. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And actually sniping down an SC. Oh, he wanted to get some more Medivacs. Okay.
Yeah, Clem's still just sharking around with these few Marines here. He wants to just know if ByuN's taking that base once again. I don't think he expects to get a whole lot done with that, but the scouting info is nice.
Oh, Clem with his... He doesn't actually spot the gold command center here. With a Liberator that's heading over to the 9 o'clock expansion to try and get some pressure done. So Clem's still in the dark in that regard as ByuN's going to shove in here with a ton of Marines. Only 2 siege tanks set up here for Clem.
Yeah, the PF helping out quite a bit though, adding a lot of damage. As splash damage against Marines as well. So Clem will be able to make the defense there and suddenly takes a 30 supply lead. And if he just finds out about this gold base, I feel like this game may just be done, but
it might be done regardless. I mean, ByuN, he has mined a lot more minerals, but the cost efficiency of Clem's army composition has just been through the roof. Not even talking about the positioning and the fights that Clem has been taking. Everything has just been so solid. Clem's army is just so much more advanced than what ByuN has. ByuN needs a dream engagement with a perfect surround. And even then, I'm not sure he can actually take the fight. I mean, 13 siege tanks with +2, it's going to do so much damage.
Yeah, he's going to go for a counterattack towards Clem's third there, and the triangle third, whilst he tries to hold it home. We may enter some kind of semi-base race, but it actually looks like Clem has enough to hold on here. Whilst getting damage done on the other side of the map, things are getting a bit wild right now. This army is sent home, and I mean, is this base dead over here? It looks like it's been lifted for the moment, but this has gone very well for Clem.
ByuN trying to get some damage done, but you see just pure Marine trying to stem in. Armor trading missile comes down. There's a huge line of siege tanks, and everything gets cleaned up. I think that's going to be it. GG is called in Clem with a 3-0 sweep.
I did not expect that. I thought ByuN was at least going to take a map for sure. I thought he even had decent chances. Obviously, you probably favor Clem, but man, he played good today.
It's kind of crazy that Clem played Protoss versus Terran up until a couple patches ago.
Right.
I mean, that just looks so good. ByuN's one of the best TVT players in the entire world.
He
and
really
Clem,
is,
with 2 very different styles showcasing this series. Siege tank pushes on 1 base, siege tank pushes on 2 bases in game 1 and game 2, but then the long macro game in game number 3. I have to say, as somebody who hasn't seen a lot of Clem's TVT because he's mostly been playing Protoss, I saw those first 2 games and was thinking, all right, this is good, but maybe he's a little bit one-dimensional. That is not the case.
No, he brought a whole range of styles there, and I'm just still not over the CC first in the double racks, how good the defense was, and you can lose a lot of SCVs because you're making 2 at a time.
Yeah.
And then his transition from that and how just kind of comfortable he looked in the chaos, and then macroing out of it to a big army. Really, really good stuff.
Honestly, the defense in game number 3 was really shaky. He missed Micro the Reaper. I'm not sure if it wasn't hotkeyed or what happened, but the Reaper, he didn't pull it back when it needed to. And the first Reaper just died for Clem for free, basically.
That's true, yeah.
And he was still able to pull back the game. So, I mean, if you want to go CC first, you have 2 excellent games to look at.
Yeah, those are the replays to study for sure. Available on the Patreon. But looking at the bracket, Clem will move on to play Serral in the semifinals. Oh my God, what a banger that is going to be. Does not get any higher level than that in TVZ. Absolutely looking forward to that. That'll be on August 2nd. And the other game on August 2nd will be Hero versus the winner of our next series, which is going to be Rogue versus Lambo.
Yeah, this is going to be an awesome top 4 here in the upper bracket, but of course, the players who lost here in this first stage, they're not out. This is a double elimination tournament. You will be seeing more from ByuN.
Yeah, indeed. Also, see the YouTube at ReviveSC2. Go over there, check it out, get your spoiler-free VODs. Chat with your fellow community members in the comments. Have some riveting discussion. And yeah, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Help out the channel, help us grow this thing more. We are trying to get RSL to the masses.
Yes, we are, and you can help us do that. Anyway, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, the second best of 5 of the day, it's going to be Rogue versus Lambo. We'll see you soon.
gold base. That's going to be a huge boost to his income. He's going to add on Banelings as the follow-up tech and try to round out his army with a lot of Roach Ravager, Lings and Banes. These Archons doing as much as they can. But this Zerg push will be coming at some point, potentially. He's now going into the Robo Bay as well.
Yeah, looks like he's going to be going into a Colossus or Disruptor follow-up. Colossus against Roach, Ravager, Ling, Bane is actually very strong. They can do a lot of damage. Of course, the Lings and Banes can get killed pretty quickly, and then you have a lot of force fields that can choke everything up. And now that sentries have been buffed, force fields now take 2 Ravager Biles instead of just 1. Makes these types of styles much better. Unfortunately, for Solar, wow, great force fields from Nightmare. Wow, yeah, Nightmare very on point there. Recalls the 2 Archons as well. Needs to make sure he's got all hands on deck to be able to defend this 4th base since he took no damage at the 3rd. Unfortunately, that is going to have to get canceled, but still pretty good defense overall so far from Nightmare.
Yeah, Solar's already maxed out. This Zerg army is huge. If the force fields aren't perfect, Nightmare may just die here. Bile's going down on those force fields already. The Badens, some of them getting through, some of them getting trapped. If they get these connections, this Protoss army may just evaporate. The sentries finally get found there in the middle, and a lot of the tech units go down here. The Immortals remain, but there is just so much Zerg on the field.
Yeah, this is going to be really rough. 1 Disruptor was out, but got basically a measly hit, nothing too much, as the Banelings now try to connect into the probe line as well. Lots of those getting murdered. A lot of them at 1 HP as well, though, so that's a bit unfortunate, but there's still so little on the ground right now for Nightmare. Solar can easily take that victory and just walk back home, replenish, and try to go again in just another minute.
Yeah, and the next wave will hit even harder with this gold base, boosting his economy. Nightmare will have Colossus for the next wave, but I feel like he just lost too much there. And he hasn't been able to establish a 4th base. His economy's kind of limping along at 60 workers after 10 minutes in this game. He does have a couple, just 1 Disruptor, 2 Colossus on the way to join up with his buddy. But this is looking like a tough order to stop this next Zerg push here.
Yeah, the real problem was, of course, that Nightmare lost all of his sentries in that attack. That is the linchpin of this defense. You need to make sure you have some of those alive to be able to choke up this army, because now there's just nothing to stop all these Zerglings and Banelings from just running on in. There's nothing to stop Solar, and he's going to take this game 1 pretty convincingly.
Yeah, nice split on the army at the end there. Just make sure, you don't come all from one direction, half this way, half that way. Get the big surround on that Protoss army, and very clean game from Solar. Finding that pylon was huge. I think that was like such a big moment in the game.
I really want to see what that game looks like without that pylon getting scouted, because that just totally upended the entire game plan from Nightmare. The whole idea is that you get the Warpins with the Adepts, and you can be pretty aggressive with them going back and forth, forcing the Zerg to kind of react to that. They're not on the map at all. You might be able to get some drones, and then you have the DT follow-up while they're distracted with the Adepts, and they might not expect it, and then things can start to go pretty crazy from there. So yeah, it's a really unfortunate thing that Nightmare had that pylon get scouted, but let's see if he can, I don't know, come up with something else a little bit different this time.
Yeah, you also need a lot more Zerg units to hold the pressure if there's more Adepts than Zerglings can deal with in the beginning, because then you need units in 2 places, right? But once you get that pylon, there's only Adepts in 1 place. They can't, shade from the middle of the map to your main or something, and then to the 3rd. So yeah, just deal with it very quickly. We will be moving on to game number 2. Hopefully Nightmare shows us, something else, something cool, something different maybe.
I still like the build, though. I
like the build.
The
it was a good try for sure,
yeah, the idea was solid. It was just very unfortunate that the pylon got scouted.
Yeah.
It really looked like it had some potential there if of course, it did not get scouted. But regardless, did not work out for him very well. Looks like, I think it was Ruby Rock that was supposed to be the next map. But anyways, it's going to be likely a smaller map. So it's going to be, again, some potential aggression coming out as well. Why are you smiling at me?
I don't know. You were just winging it there. I was enjoying it.
Mapu minimized the thing. I thought I saw Ruby Rock, but then it got minimized, and I was like, and then it said at Eternity's Edge at the top. Like, wait, what? Didn't we just?
It is Ruby Rock, guys. It's going to be Ruby Rock. So Gemini was right. It's a smaller map here. This has been in the map pool for quite a while. Like it was a ladder map. How many seasons ago?
I don't remember. It's been in for a while.
It's been in for a while. It was a while ago that it was in the ladder pool, and it's a pretty good map. Lots of potential for aggression, I feel like. Some nice choke points there in the middle, and lots of avenues to run around. So we will be loading into that shortly. Solar currently 1-0 up in this series.
As the short day continues, it's been a lot of...
Welcome back, everybody. Hope you're ready for the second best of 5 of the day. It's going to be Rogue versus Lambo in a ZVZ to decide who will be playing versus Hero in the next round.
Yes, indeed. We'll see who'll be moving on. Clem wins the first series of the day, 3-0. Looking amazing in TVT, by the way. We were just talking about this in the break. You know, why? I mean, obviously he wanted to play Protoss, but he could have played Terran the whole time, it looks like.
Yeah, hard to believe he ever didn't play TVT with the way that series looked. I mean, that was so impressive coming out from Clem.
Yeah. Still so top level in TVT. But now it's time to talk about Zerg.
Yeah.
It's going to be a Zerg versus Zerg here. 2 of the top guys in this matchup. Rogue, you know, known by some as the GOAT. Or known as one by the GOAT. But let's talk about Lambo real quick, because I think prep tournaments suit him extremely well.
Sure.
And I think we're just kind of finding that out last season in the RSL, with him getting top 4 in his first RSL ever. And then getting out of groups here again. I think he looks so good when he knows who his opponent is, and he has time to come up with builds for each map and kind of make a tailor-made plan for his opponent.
Yeah, Lambo is one of the smartest people in StarCraft 2, and it's one of the reasons why I enjoy watching his stream so much when he actually goes into these deep dives about his thoughts on the game, his thoughts on optimal play. I mean, Lambo is just absolutely brilliant. And so, you know, him going up against Rogue here, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch, because Rogue is the exact same way. You know, Rogue is maybe the best player in terms of trying to plan a series in Korea of all time, in my opinion. I know that, like, Maru was great, MVP was great back in the day. But Rogue historically, for my bucks, him playing in a prep tournament where he can just kind of devise a plan to take out his opponent versus him playing in, like, a weekend tournament, it's night and day with this guy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think both of these guys kind of shine in prep tournaments. And here we go. They've both had a lot of time to think about this, study their opponent, you know, look at some of their old games. What did they die to? What did they beat? And come up with a plan here. The first map is going to be at Eternity's Edge. Of course, ZVZ has changed a lot on the 8-worker start. You have a little bit more of rock, paper, scissors than it used to be on the 12-worker start, where Hatch First could just hold everything. Now, you know, it's a little bit scary to go for that Hatch First against a 10 pool, for example, which is a little bit, you know, not as good into a later pool, but not a Hatch First. So we'll see how these guys want to navigate the early game and what they go into from there.
Yeah, I've heard from players as well that even though it's a very small change, the cost of hatcheries being 300 as opposed to 275, you do kind of feel it in terms of your queen production, which... Yeah, the queens are kind of the catch-all defense early game in ZBZ. And so it just adds a little bit more spice to the players who want to get aggressive. They have a little bit more of an opportunity to get damage done. And that kind of leans into what you were saying about the game matchup being more aggressive and perhaps, for lack of a better phrase, more rock, paper, scissory, right?
Yeah, not to make it sound like too much, you know, luck-based, but there is that aspect of just kind of slight build order advantages. Obviously, you can outplay in any situation, but this game, you see Rogue going for the pool first and Lambo going for the hatch first. So that slightly favors Lambo. There is no, like, gas with this for Rogue, so no crazy all-in. He'll just be getting his own hatchery afterwards. So Lambo's eco will be just a smidge better, but nothing too much that you could call it, like, a solid advantage or anything like that.
Yeah, I was watching Cyril versus Shin yesterday when I was casting that with Gemini, and I think we had a couple games which had the same setup where it's pool first versus hatch first like this. And there is that small window where the hatchery is done and you're getting a couple more drones out where, you know, in this case, Lambo would have the advantage. But it feels like things equalize pretty quickly with the first inject. Yeah,
you get that inject much quicker, as you say. Obviously, you can't mine from the natural for a while because it's later, even if you make more drones. So that's kind of where the hatch first player has the advantage. Also, the gas is a little bit quicker here for Lambo. He's got about 30 more gas in the bank right now, so his speed will be quicker than Rogue's.
A couple little advantages here for Lambo early on. We'll see if he decides to try and utilize these in any such way. Of course, Lambo now just scouting the hatchery, the natural expansion here for Rogue. Identifies this is going to be a pool first opening for his opponent, and also, Lambo, I think he wisely starts pulling back that Overlord because Rogue is one of these guys who, you know, after dropping an inject down here, wouldn't mind chasing down that Overlord if he could.
Yeah, losing that front Overlord, obviously, it costs you money, but also denies any scouting. You can't see what's coming out of your opponent's natural. You definitely want to keep hold of that one. As we see a pair of scouting lings coming across the map from Lambo here. Just wants to make sure that Rogue is actually droning. You know, he's not just making nothing but lings behind this. We'll go and scout the number of drones at the natural, get that confirmation.
A lot more Lings in production as well as the Baneling Nest for both of them. Rogue even building a Roach Swarm,
Wow.
and interestingly doing this in the main base, not the natural expansion. So this kind of tells me that Rogue wants to be aggressive early on. He's not using the Roach Warren to try and form any sort of wall here at the natural expansion. He wants to keep this hidden.
Yeah, with the Bane Nest, this is like way too early to be walling and try to go, you know, be going up to 2 base saturation. He's going to be very aggressive with this. Lambo's making a ton of Lings of his own, though. He sends this drone out here to make the 3rd, but here come the Lings.
Yeah, Lings getting revealed. Metabolic boost about 10 seconds away from being done. Rogue started the hatchery and then cancels it. He is going to have a lot of, I was going to say he's going to have a chance to make some roaches, but actually look at the supply. It's 45 out of 48 here for Rogue. He needs an Overlord pretty soon. Even if he wanted to start roaches, he can only make 2 of them, so instead it's just going to be Lings and Banelings.
Yeah, these Banelings almost hatched here. You got to be so careful as Lambo. One bad connection could just end this game for you if you're not careful. These Queens are going to come forward, try to take out the Banes if they commit. Lambo is droning behind this, so he's not looking to end the game here, just looking for an overreaction from Rogue as the first Banes go in, all on move command. Oh, big connection on those Lings there.
That's a nice connection there for Lambo, but there's enough Banelings alive here for Rogue that it's pretty tough for Lambo to try and come in and find an angle.
Yeah, indeed. Lambo's getting his 3rd base as well. This Queen, they're starting to get low HP, but the Baneling able to help out there. And the pressure continues. He's going to try and move this spine to the front. Lambo would love to get a Queen. Nice transfuse. Saves that one, though. But 5 drones get caught. Okay, now Lambo is in the lead.
It feels like Lambo got a lot done with that second wave of Ling Baneling coming in. I love the way he was using the Banelings to try and zone out Rogues and then just dived on the drones after that.
Yeah, Lambo's going to... at the top of the ramp. I thought he had vision with the Overlord, but just eats that Baneling shot there. And there's nothing on the production tab for Rogue right now. It's so worrying. Okay, here we go. The Roaches start up there. And he is going to be trying to send it back across the map. Lambo has a 10-worker lead, which is good in terms of eco, but maybe, you know, too much in terms of how many units you can get out to actually hold this.
Yeah, there was a brief moment where it seemed like Rogue was deciding which way he wanted to take this game. Does he want to make drones and try and play a longer macro game, or does he want to go for the throat by building roaches? Now, he opted for the roaches, and he has not stopped building them. In fact, even building an Overlord right now at 59 to 72 makes me think he's just going to full send with roaches and Lings. He wants to do nothing but try and barrel down the 3rd and the natural expansion here of Lambo.
Yeah, Lambo's Roach Run is on the way, but I'm not sure if it's going to be finished for this attack. The Roaches already making their way across. And it's so hard to hold Roach Ling Bane with only Ling Bane. Because the Roaches can, you know, kill the Bane so quickly. And then your Banes kill all the Ling Bane. Yeah, it's just very difficult. So he's going to make some spines. He might just have to give up the 3rd. I think there's no way you can defend that. Try and make a wall here at the front and just hang on to 2 bases.
Yeah, but in a moment like this one, it feels like those spines take forever to build. They're only about halfway done now, and a Rogue is already coming into the natural expansion with a ton of Roaches. No full wall here for Lambo. Spine Crawler's still not yet done as the Roaches snipe the first Queen. Baneling connections there by the ramp, and a Rogue is flooding in.
The Banelings get into the mineral line here. Good spread from Lambo. He's going to... actually gets a ton of Banelings of Lambo as well as 8 drones. Roaches are about to pop here, but I don't think it's enough in time for Lambo. Rogue crashing through the natural.
I mean, the Baneling connection is just absolutely huge for Rogue in the mineral line of the natural expansion. Now the Banelings, they're trying to connect around the drones in the main base. A lot of these drones in the red. Lambo, how many more units is he actually producing? Because it feels like there is nothing on the ground right now. It's starting to peter out in the natural expansion, but 20 drones have fallen.
And that is too much. Rogue takes game number 1 there with the kind of counterattack after the initial pressure of Lambo. I feel like Lambo got a lot of damage done, a lot of good damage, had a good eco lead. But then he lost all those links to that Bane on top of the ramp.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And then Rogue was like, okay, let's go. Like, he was already planning to be aggressive with the early Roach Warren. But I think after that, he was like 100% sure. Let's make the Roaches. Let's send it. Follow up with the Ling Bane. And you just can't hold that with only Ling Bane of your own, it feels like.
I think if that Baneling doesn't get a connection at the top of the ramp on Rogue's side of the map with like a dozen of Lambo's Lings, then Lambo suddenly is going to have a lot more freedom to have a presence on the map. He can scout the natural expansion. He would see that there aren't any more drones coming in for Rogue. And maybe then the Spine Crawlers are a little bit faster. Maybe then the Roach Warren is a little bit faster and Lambo actually has enough to defend. But instead, Rogue finding the perfect timing to break down that natural expansion and secure the game 1 win.
Yeah, wow, what kind of interesting start to the series. You know, some fireworks on both ends. I really like Lambo's choice to build that pressure. going to drone behind it, getting the third. Maybe he's a little bit too greedy with it. I mean, he doesn't see what we see. He doesn't know there's a Roach Warren in the main. That's a tricky move from Rogue. And yeah, he's able to use that to take game number 1. We were moving on to map number 2 here is going to be Voidstorm, our new map this season. Or one of the new maps, I should say.
All right, let's load in. Lambo, the blue Zerg spawning in the bottom right. Rogue, the red Zerg in the top left. And already a pretty energetic start to this series.
Yeah, indeed. Very action-packed. Now, as Lambo, I mean, you really don't want to go 2-0 down in a series. Then your opponent has so much room to play with in terms of going for risky builds or just playing solid builds and having a good chance to just end the series. Looks like we will be going for an 11 pool here from Lambo. So mixing it up here in game number 2.
Huh. It's not quite the 10 pool. I wonder, is this designed to take out a hatch first build, do you think?
A 10 pool can also do it, right? But, I mean, you have the one more drone with the 11 pool. Oh, he's going to go into a gas as well.
Yeah, this is looking very aggressive for Lambo.
Yeah, this is not like your tent pool, kill the hatch, make your own hatchery behind it. This is either going to be like quick speed or it's going to be... he actually posted a guide for like a Baneling pressure. I'm curious if he's going to use that.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, where you like make 4 Banes.
Is it Banelings without Zergling speed?
Yeah, without Zergling speed, yeah.
Oh, that is an interesting thought. I mean, I guess you can't really afford to go both if you want to go for a pool and a gas this early on. So we'll see if Lambo actually is going to go into a Baneling nest or will he start Zergling speed. That's a cool idea. Now, Rogue on his side of the map, he is going for a pool first opening again. So this is a pretty conservative, safe opening that Rogue is doing.
And it is the Baneling nest without the speed. Ooh. So the plan with this is you make 4 Banes, I think. You make like 2 to 4 Banes. And then you try and get the hatchery with kind of minimal investment. You pull out of gas after you have as much gas as you need for the Banes. And then you get your hatchery behind it. So compared to the temple, though, you have the Banelings, which give you a lot more power with this push. But you're not necessarily trying to end the game. You see, he's only got 2 on the gas right now, so not going to be going for the most number of Banes you could possibly make. And I do expect him to expand behind this. There's a spine crawler going down on the high ground for Rogue, which will help him defend his main, and he's pulling the drones as well.
Yeah, Rogue reacting right now almost as if this is going to be something like a 10 pool. He doesn't know about the Banelings just yet. He has no idea these Banelings are morphing in, and the drone's actually chasing quite far here. Lambo going to be moving on past them.
Yeah, Lambo's still mining gas. I'm just keeping an eye on that.
Oh my goodness. It's like a jump scare. These Banelings now coming in. And you have to defend the Queen here as Rogue, too. Oh, this is a very tricky position. The Queen all the way down on the ramp. Those Banelings could connect onto 3 Lings if they want to, instead just staying alive for now.
Wow, the Queen focused both the Banelings down, but there's so many Lings remaining here for Lambo. He's making a couple drones behind this, but this is a lot of damage right now. Rogue just running around with his drones, trying to buy time for this spine crawler to get in position.
Oh, this is such a cool build out of Lambo, and just like you called, he's going for the hatchery behind it. He's continuing to drone up, but there's been a lot of damage sustained by Rogue. Rogue lost the first Queen. There's still Banelings here on the field for Lambo. The natural expansion, it's still under threat, and as Rogue, you don't really want to move that spine crawler down to the natural because you kind of need it in case Lambo decides to go up into the main.
Yeah, and also you might just lose it as it's, you know, transferring down the ramp. But these Banelings are just such a threat here, and you can't take the full engagement because you'll just lose your Lings. But beautiful dancing here with the move command on these Banes. I think eventually he will stabilize here. Lambo's just droning behind this. He's making his Queens. And at the end of the day, he's taken a 2-worker lead, which is quite nice, you know?
Really nice circling micro there by Lambo. Keeping both those low HP Lings alive. We get 1 more Ling kill. And that was a very fun start. I love this opening out of Lambo. You know, when the dust settles, Lambo's hatchery is just about to finish up. I think the Queens for Lambo are probably a little bit... Actually, he sniped the first Queen there for Rogue. I wonder who's ahead and behind in terms of Queen production.
Yeah, we'll have to have a look here. Lambo's just had one finish up. I mean, he should be able to defend just fine. Oh, you don't want to lose these Banelings. I was going to say you can defend just fine with Queen and a couple Banes, but not if you throw them away for 1 Ling. You got to be careful.
Yeah, word count's dead even right now as both players are droning up. Lambo has started Zergling speed, though.
Yeah, Rogue just has enough to start his speed now, but Lambo also has the Baneling tech.
And it's going to be a lair. No Zergling speed here for Rogue.
Wow.
So I wonder if we're going to be seeing Roaches again. He's adding in the second gas already. You can't really afford to go for the third hatchery at the front on such a low economy. You really do need a wall in a position like this one, don't you?
I mean, if your opponent just sends it, then yeah, you're going to have to make an Evo wall. He still have the spine from the earlier defense. Lambo also going to take his own layer. Balin Nest goes down in Rogue's wall. So it looks like we're kind of rounding out the early game tech here. They've got their Balin Nest. Rogue doesn't have speed, so he's not going to be able to be aggressive at all until his layer's done, but his layer is much quicker.
Yeah, Baling Nest, no Roach Warren, and no speed. It's very interesting here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Balin Nest is purely for defense. In case Lambo were to mass lings, you're never going to be aggressive without the ling speed. And we're still on 2 gas here for Rogue, so what's he going to do once this finishes? It's going to be a Spire.
Yeah, I think he's going to be adding the gases sooner than natural expansion, but the way the mineral economy... You see, even right now, only on 2 gases, he can barely afford what he's producing. It's more important to get these drones up as fast as possible here in the main and the natural expansion. And so both players will be up into 4 gas in just a minute. This might be a Muta versus Muta game, honestly.
Yeah, it looks like it will be the case. The good thing for Lambo is he has his 3rd and 4th gas up already. So he is actually mining more gas than Rogue right now, so he will have more mutas at some point. A bit more gas being spent on Balin's there. And in Muta versus Muta, it's all about the gas. All about who can make the most mutas and take the map control the, get the 3rd base quicker, get that 5th and 6th gas up, get the bigger muta flock.
In a Muta versus Muta situation like this one, where Lambo knows this opponent's going into mutas, Rogue doesn't necessarily have the idea that Lambo is going into muta, or he's about to scout ahead with the Overseer. I'm wondering if you go into +1 air weapons or +1 armor first here on the Spire, because air weapons, I mean, it's good against everything, but the armor is going to help a lot with the glaives, right?
Yeah, Muta versus Muta, you always go armor, just because it works. You get it 3 times for each glaive bounce, so it just helps a lot. And it's basically, if you have armor and they have attack and you have equal mutas, the armor player will win.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. But Lambo getting his 3rd base quicker here. If he takes the 5th and 6th gas on that base super quick, he can get even more mutas. But here comes Rogue with some lings moving across the map. His ling speed is actually not finished just yet.
Yeah, Lambo hasn't started any mutas just yet. Instead, actually going a little bit heavier onto the lings. Might be trying to get something done. Rogue, he wants to levy some pressure now with the ling speed finishing up. But can he really get too much accomplished here? It seems like Lambo has just enough.
Yeah, Lambo has so much more gas. If he can actually spend it all on mutas, he will have more. Both of them took really early gases at their 3rd base. Obviously gas is a priority in Muta versus Muta. Ooh! You got to be careful with these Banelins in this situation. But okay, here come the first mutas. They will send these Banelins home. And now the flock will begin to grow.
Yeah, both players already pulling back their overlords into their respective sides of the map. And Lambo spawning the double gas here at the 3rd base. It's almost like a Phoenix versus Phoenix war in PvP. I wonder who's going to blink first in terms of trying to get something done. Because I imagine with muta counts being about as even as they are going to be, it's a little bit awkward to try and push across the map and try and get damage done.
Yeah, it can be the defender's advantage, especially if you sit over a Spore Crawler. They do so much damage now. That can help a lot. So if you do have the bigger flock, I think one of the best ways to get ahead is just to take an extra base. Try and get more gas that way. That's one way you can play it. You can also transition. Sometimes players would try and go into Infestors or Vipers eventually. But for right now, both of them just trying to drone up their 3rd bases, get this eco going, and get as many mutas out as they can.
Yeah, Lambo notably does have +1 melee attack, whereas Rogue has no evolution chamber upgrades. So in terms of the Ling versus Ling war, it is better for Lambo. He's able to find these little skirmishes with Lings. That is one way that he can kind of win a war of attrition with Rogue, by trying to take very small fights that slowly add up to a resource advantage here for Lambo.
Yeah, that is true. I think Rogue already has +1 carapace on his mutas, though. So he's going to have the kind of air superiority, whereas Lambo has the ground superiority. Interesting trade-off here.
Rogue up 10 workers, by the way. So he's going to be mining a lot more minerals from that 3rd base. Might mean that his 4th hatchery is going to be faster than Lambo's here. So we'll actually have a little bit more of a mineral float to afford it.
Can we check the Mulus counts, by the way? Just the total count. Lambo's making 7 right now, 3 on the way.
It's very even.
Yeah, pretty similar. I think Lambo has more in production, but overall very similar counts here. So with those extra workers, you have to give the edge to Rogue here.
Yeah, Lambo, once these extra mutas finish up, should have a small advantage. Although Rogue finding good damage over there at the third base. The Lings and Banelings out of position for Lambo. Actually, Rogue continuing to get drone damage done. I think the Banelings might have zoned away the Lings of Lambo for a moment. So 7 drones of Lambo fall. In addition to the Queen, Lambo now down to 2 Queen. Has to remake that one if he needs to use the Larva. Rogue's just getting a lot of damage done right now with these very small exchanges.
Yeah, it did cost him a lot of Lings to get that eco damage, so maybe there's some potential for a counterattack here from Lambo. Rogue constantly threatening the counterattack with this own little pack of his own Lings though, but Lambo's kind of boxed him into a box here. He's caught a lot of this army in the middle of the map. Gets 1 muta for free.
Equal upgrades right now in the muta fight. Lambo doesn't want to go for the engagement just yet though. Quite feel like he has the numbers. Lambo overall 31 mutas to the 29 of Rogue, and Lambo eventually you're gonna have to take these fights. I mean, it's so much damage being done on the retreat. Muta counts now even. Banelings looking to find the connections here onto Lambo's Lings, do not get them. But now Rogue with 1/1 upgrades to just though +1 armor here of Lambo. The upgrades are so much better for Rogue.
Yeah, Lambo's finally decided to send it here. Mutas fighting mutas, Lings fighting Lings. There's a couple Banes in the army for Rogue. I really like that. But it looks like he is winning this air war, and with it, game number 2. Rogue goes up 2-0 in the series.
Yeah, I mean, Lambo, he was kind of forced into trying to make that push happen because he lost the Queen, he lost the drones. He was already skimping on workers quite a bit. You know, he was down like, what, 6 or 7 drones compared to Rogue earlier on. And then Rogue, I mean, he takes the fight, and the faster upgrades, they just absolutely paid off. He had +1 air attack, he had +1 air armor. Lambo just had the air armor. And with a unit like the Mutalisk, where, the glaives bounce 3 times, I mean, it's huge.
Yeah, it makes such a big difference. And I'm just going back to the moment where Rogue did his first push as Ling speed was finishing. I think Lambo respected that a little bit too much, and he delayed his muta production for a long time. And then Rogue was kind of droning as well behind it, and he got that drone lead, and he rode it out. I think if Lambo could kind of see what we see, he might have played things differently, obviously, with hindsight. But yeah, really tricky game 2 to navigate, especially after the early game aggression.
Yeah, these are some very close games between Rogue and Lambo. And folks, if you're watching and you want to support the RSL, one way that you can do it is to go to tastelessthreads.com. Patreon supporters of the RSL get a 20% discount, and there is all sorts of merchandise available, not just RSL gear, but also Tastosis gear, like the shirt that you've got there. There's mouse pads, there's mugs, all sorts of things you can use.
Yeah, indeed, check it out. We will be back shortly with this series. It's 2-0 at the moment for Rogue. We'll keep it going in just a couple minutes.
Slowing the Zerg down wherever he can without really overextending. That's the most important part about this. Nice Widowmine connects there, going to clear out a couple of Banes as well. And Solar is, just a minute or 2 away from maxing out here.
Solar's been macroing really well. He is fighting off creep right now, though. Got to be very careful. Does manage to set off all the mines, take some of those out. Maru forced to retreat right now. There's a little 5 Hellbat hit squad going to try and push in this base, but the Queens are there to meet him. Probably going to have to just turn around and run away. It's quite interesting to see Hellbat's still alive at this point in the game, almost 10 minutes already. Yeah, usually they die at some point.
Hellbat's going to have like this moment where they appear in the game and they're like, we're not going to be here for long. It's like the Reaper, right? Early game. It's eventually you forget that can even be made as the game goes on long enough. But yeah, this has been a lot of Hellbat presence for a while here. Okay, so Solar's basically maxed out. We've got Lurker Tech coming here. I really thought there was going to be an attack coming out, but I guess, the truth is that, Maru's been so active. It's really been Solar kind of running around trying to stop any real damage from coming in here.
Yeah, Solar will have a strong late game if he's able to get to Lurker Tech kind of uninterrupted. The Widowmines might do some friendly fire here. He's retargeting. Okay, they go off on a lot of Lings. Some of them fall in. Lots of Lingbane following up here. He's got to pick up here. He doesn't want to lose all of these Marines. And Maru's taking a 4th base behind this. We may be going to a real late game. Only 1 Hydra goes down to that. That was lucky. If that retargeted, it could have got a lot more, I feel like.
Yeah, got to be careful, man. There's a lot of Banes over here. The last thing you want to do is have one of those Widowmines hit, 5 or 6 Banes like that. Solar's taking his 6th base here at the top right. He's basically only got 1 more base on his side of the map. And Maro's just sitting solidly on 4 here. You know, we're gonna reach that max out point, and you know this could be a game where Maro just goes for exhaust play. He is really not pushed. I mean, he's kind of come out and poked, but a poke is very different from a committed push where you're trying to come in here and basically flatten the Zerg out. He's basically just trying to come in here and trip the Zerg up and then escape to safety back at home.
Yeah, and I think Maru is literally the best Terran in the world at that exhaust play where you kind of sit back and defend for a very long time, get the ultimate army of ghosts and all the good bio units out. So if he's able to get there, he could be in a good spot. He's going for 3-3 right now. Adrenal on the way, full solar, as well as that Hydra lunge upgrade. I love that one. Cancel on this base. The Banshee's still around in red HP, doing some work here. Maru's really had an emphasis on stopping some creep spread in this game, I think, and I feel like it's paid dividends for him. No Spore at this base. If he gets those on the workers, it could be big. We'll start to target them down now. Actually going to live with 1 HP there, the drones. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, it takes out 4 and gets away. Again, the value you can get if you keep those Banshees alive. I did see a Nidus Worm for a second. We changed production tabs, but yeah, there's 1 Nidus. Does he have... I don't see an Overlord or a Zergling or a Changeling or anything that could, like, basically do this, anything like inside. Oh, no, well, you're not going to put it there.
Yeah, I mean, Maru would see that one, but maybe he'll set something up around the outside of the map, and if you can get some lurkers in the main on top of the Terran production, that's the dream, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, as you know, once you start to have the Terran kind of try to collapse back into its own starting location, that can be pretty good. Then you can hit the bases from the outside. For now, I mean, Solar's just swatting away attack after attack.
Yeah, good parasitic bomb on the medevacs, forcing everything to retreat. This 5th base wants to land, but I'm not sure if it will be able to for the moment.
It's funny, this game, they've basically spiked in supply, and then neither of them really attacked or made a move. They're both actually just piling up money in their bank accounts right now. It's like over 4K minerals for Solar, 1.2K gas. And Maro's got a lot on his side as well, obviously less than Solar, but yeah, it's interesting. I mean, eventually this is going to have to reach some kind of climax. We're going to have to see things start to trade out, but so far it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, the Lurker range upgrade just finished, so that may be the time where Solo wants to get something done. A lot of units coming out of this Nidus here. Maru is in position to see this attack away. The Nidus will go down, and this kind of failed here, but Solo has a lot of bank to work with. He can try this again and again, try to get Nidus up in different and multiple locations. And if he is able to get some lurkers in a good spot, it can really pay off for him.
Okay, it looks like he's going to try to...
6 Liberators in production at a time. Wow.
Yeah, he's going to come down and hit this pretty hard here. The kiting's pretty nice.
Welcome back, everybody. We're getting ready to close out the day with Rogue and Lambo playing the last games of this series. It's a best of 5, currently 2-0 in Rogue's favor, although the games, they've been very close. Yeah,
especially that game 2, I feel like could have gone either way. Very close games. Rogue's looking good. I hope we get some more games here. I would love to see it go to game 5, Lambo make the comeback, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, Rogue is looking to be absolutely on fire right now. He is honestly just been killing it in this patch. There was a, I think it was GSL-CK where they did it's like a, I think they called it like a race war where it's like Terran versus Protoss versus Zerg. And Rogue. I can't remember if it was Solar or Shin who decided they were gonna like put Rogue out first, and they're like, oh, he hasn't really played any games on the 8-worker start. We're gonna give him a feel for the patch. He went like 12-0. He went 12-0. Rogue has been killing it, and I think it's just. You know, when I think of Rogue, obviously mechanically he's a really good player, but when I think of Rogue, I think of somebody like Lambo who's just really smart.
Yeah.
Just has a great feel for the game, a great instinct that can just quickly kind of roll with the punches, you know? Hero's the same way for Protoss, where it's like, mechanically, he might not be the best Protoss player in the world. I mean, his mechanics, his micro in particular, it's oftentimes exceptional. It's oftentimes the best in the world, but in terms of like the macro, like, I kind of prefer Clem in like a TVP, you know? But the thing is, like, Hero, his game sense is so good. He is so good at making a game scrappy and just bringing you down into the mud with him and just winning the mud wrestle. And that's kind of the same way that Rogue is, you know, and in my mind, they're kind of the same. So it makes sense that Rogue is doing so well in this patch, but I mean, my goodness, it's like a level above what my expectation was.
Yeah, that team match where he went, what did you say it was? 12-0 or 14-0?
I think it was something like
Something
that.
insane. That was like the first time we really saw Zerg on the new patch. It was like the first impressions, and Rogue did that. He did irreparable damage to the Zerg. Like they're like, no, we got enough Zerg. But yeah.
I mean, the first couple iterations of the larva was it did seem quite crazy, but
Yeah.
Rogue is just exceptional. I love that he's been able to carry the momentum as we had a couple more iterations on the 8-worker start here, because when Rogue is playing well, StarCraft is simply better.
I mean, I agree with that 100%. And just looking at the builds real quick, we do have a hatch first for Lambo versus the pool first once again from Rogue. Playing it a little bit safer.
Yeah, Rogue seems to really like this pool first opening.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice and safe. It's only slightly worse than hatch first in terms of eco. But like the build Lambo did last game, if you're going for a hatch first, that can be really dicey to hold.
Was last game... I know we just cast it. Was last game the one with the Lings and slow Banelings?
Yeah.
There was no link speed. Yeah, right.
Just the Bane pressure.
The ZVZs, they kind of blend together, you know? We just had Sarah versus
Like the
Shin
days in
yesterday,
vacation.
too.
They all just blend together. Oh, Lambo's actually taking the pocket base here as well.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, this is a cool build.
Gasless so far, going for that quick third hatchery. It is not a full base down there, but it's definitely one you can put to use.
I wonder how long Lambo will be playing this gasless. By the way, very tight build. You see Lambo right now, he kind of skips an Overlord. He just uses the extra supply from the hatchery. That is how tight this build is. Saving those 100 minerals allows him to get that hatchery up just a little bit faster. So Lambo really just specializing in this build right now. And he's going to have a huge economy behind this.
Yeah, if he's left to kind of drone, you know, as much as he'd like to, then he definitely can go wild with it. Rogue's going for the quick Evo chamber this game. Maybe he's going to go for like a quick carapace upgrade. Go for some aggression with that. We'll have to see what he's got planned for us. Obviously, the carapace upgrade was buffed, I guess you could say. The cost of it was reduced down to the same as the attack upgrade now, which is very nice. And it's kind of opened up a lot of carapace first builds in this matchup. It was already good in DVT, but now we see that a little bit more as well.
It's 100 resources cheaper, 50 less minerals and gas right here. So we're going to go for a really fast carapace. And Lambo, oh, if he can get these Lings in, I'm not sure he will with the drones and the Lings, as well as the Queen right there on the ramp. It would be huge if he could spot the evolution chamber, because right now Lambo, he's going for this greedy build, but he doesn't know exactly what Rogue is up to.
Yeah, he does see there's no hatchery at the pocket base for Rogue, but he has no idea about this carapace upgrade, and he did, you know, start the game gasless with that quick third hatchery. So only just now is he taking a second gas, getting his Roach Warren. He will be skipping the Ling phase of the game, but if he can get out a decent number of Roaches, he can definitely hold his own. Rogue also going to take a third base out on the map, a full base.
It doesn't seem like Rogue is keen on getting particularly aggressive with this. And actually, can we hop on Rogue's vision for just a second? I wonder if he spotted the pocket base. I figure he must have been able to check for the... Yeah, he did see this. Okay. So Rogue knows exactly what is going on right now, and he knows that Lambo is likely playing kind of defensive behind this. It's a very greedy opening that Lambo is going for. And so Rogue, he doesn't have to commit to the pressure. He can do something kind of greedy like go for +1 carapace. He can take the forward third base, which has more minerals but is more exposed, more dangerous.
Yeah, I think if Lambo had taken the forward third base, then Rogue probably would have been aggressive with the carapace.
Oh, for sure.
But seeing that it's the pocket base, he says, okay, I can take my pocket base, my third base at the front, get more minerals than you. I can go for a quick layer, which you can't punish because you didn't have gas for a long time. But the income advantage is quite firmly in Lambo's favor for the moment.
Economically, Lambo is ahead, but Rogue is a pace ahead in terms of tech. You know, he already has the +1 carapace. He's starting +1 melee attack. The lair is significantly faster than Lambo's as well. So even though the economy is, I guess, now considerably smaller than Lambo's, at the very least, Rogue will have a little bit of tempo.
Yeah, there should be mutas again, I guess. He's up to 4 gas already. There is the Spire just after the layer finishes. So these Roaches of Lambo's won't be able to do much if the mutas get out. He'll have to, you know, make extra queens, get his spore crawlers, and all that kind of anti-muta stuff. Lambo's actually making a lot of Roaches right now.
Yeah, and Lambo right now, I think that he is basically at full saturation for these 3 bases, especially with these extra 2 drones finishing up.
Yeah.
If he wanted to, he could just continue to pump the gas in terms of Roach production. He's going for a 4th base right now. This is going to be the 6 o'clock expansion, and Rogue will try to get a cancel, but those 5 roaches just keenly positioned there. Do not allow Rogue to get a connection. And I feel like with this, a roach shove could be really good for Lambo with 1-1 against the Spire and the smaller economy of Rogue, but I'm not sure that it's going to come online fast enough. Those upgrades are only about halfway done.
Yeah, the thing is, he doesn't have roach speed, and it's so dangerous to slowly walk across the map with those roaches. He went for the kind of early greedy opening. I think he has to just accept that he will be playing a little bit more passively and defensively in this game. As he tries to get in here, does confirm the Spire. That's an excellent scout for him. So now he can throw down those spores, get all his anti-air ready, and decide how he's going to deal with these.
Now Rogue still about 7 or 8 drones behind Lambo, but he's focusing more on the gas income as opposed to the mineral income. That's the real bottleneck here for Rogue.
So many Lings out here on the map. +1 melee just finishing up now. That does give them a lot more DPS. And Lambo's taking his 4th base here. No 4th base in sight for Rogue at the moment. Going to clear out all these overlords from the map. Reduce the vision of Lambo. Make him remake those. And he's going for the Bane there. So he's actually going to commit to Mutaling Bane in this game. Going to make as many Mutas as possible. Add in Banelings to deal with Hydralisk later on.
I like this move coming in from Rogue. Actually hopping in here between the natural and the third base, or natural and the main base, able to snipe a good number of these Hydras, only trading out for what, just 1 Muta? That's excellent here for Rogue. And he's also working on those rocks. Because he cleared out the Overlords, I'm not sure Lambo is aware of this.
Yeah, he may see it shortly. Okay, he actually does not see it at all.
Yeah, there's no creep spread or anything to give vision of these rocks going down. And I think that Rogue is aware that Lambo just has no idea. He confirms it actually with these Mutas. If the Lings all get into the main base with 1-1, that could be huge. And Lambo almost going for a base trading move. Okay, Rogue, he has a decision to make. Does he try and defend right now without Baneling speed with just Lings and Mutas, or does he go for the counter?
He is going to try and catch this army out on the map, go for the sandwich here. All the Hydras getting jumped on by the Lings. A lot of roaches here, but will there be enough anti-air? It doesn't look like it. As all the Hydras fall, the Mutas can go to work on the rest of these roaches unopposed. And Lambo will have to go home here. He still retains a supply advantage. A lot of roaches left, but he doesn't have the anti-air to continue fully sending this forward.
I like him sectioning off a couple of these roaches to try and get damage done, but he did stop for a moment just south of this 3rd base, so a little bit late into the mineral line. Only going to get 1 drone in total. As Rogue able to mop up the very first army of Lambo. And Lambo right now, he's going for tunneling claw roaches. I think this is him just trying to find some way to get the game back to parity, because Rogue with that defense, I think, is in a very good position, despite the fact that he's behind on supply.
Yeah, these units all going to make their way into the main here, taking down those rocks, as we were talking about before. The Roach Hydra is in position, though. A Queen will go down. These Lings will make their way to the pocket base. And there's actually a lot of Lambo's army moving across the map right here. Burrowed movement not done just yet, but Lambo splitting this army, making it difficult to actually catch all of it. He's going to try and get some economic harassment done here.
Yeah, 1 Overseer gets started. 2nd Overseer begins as well. If there is an Overlord speed already here for Rogue, I imagine he's going to be firing that up in just a minute too, because these burrowed roaches can be such a thorn in your side as they snipe at hatcheries that are trying to get up as they eventually work their way into mineral lines. Ooh. And oh man, Banelings made their way into Lambo's natural, took out 10 drones in total. Now another fight in the middle. There's just not enough anti-gear for Lambo though. Yeah,
the Hydra count wasn't high enough, and once again, will be reset here. Some roaches have made their way across the map. Burrow speed is now, burrow movement is now done for these roaches, but the Overseers are here for Rogue. He's going to start to chase down these little groups of roaches. If he can take damage here, he's going to be a good spot. But these Hydralisk count, the Hydralisk count is just so low right now, continuously being reset, Hydras being picked off in small groups.
Yeah, and again, the supplies, they favor Lambo, but I think it's just because the roaches, they're so bulky in terms of supply. Rogue is hitting a critical mass of Mutalisks right now. Even though he's losing a lot of drones, I don't mind this position for Rogue at all. He's taking the 4th base quite well. And how many Mutas is this, in fact, to the Hydras of Lambo? It feels like it is so many Mutas. He's got 24 Mutas.
Yeah, that is a lot of Mutas, but his drone count is 10 behind. If Lambo can kind of stabilize and get Infestors out, that can be a game changer. But, I mean, this is so many Mutas.
I honestly think well, I guess that's enough Hydras to actually shoo these away. But if these Hydras don't move together as 1 unit, Rogue can get so much damage done. And Muta's in this number, I mean, even if he starts attacking the hatcheries, like the Glaives are going to be sniping a bunch of units too. It's so much
Bane's rolling in here while he's distracted. The drones are not pulled, and tons of drones going down, even the Spore Crawler. So the Mutas can go there and start to take stuff out.
20 more Banelings now in production here for Rogue, as well as Lambo's going to continue to try and get damage done with these Roaches. Now Lambo's in a very tough position right now against the map control and the 20-plus Mutas of Rogue. As Rogue's able to take this hatchery out in just a couple of seconds, he'll be able to get the kill. Lambo reset back down to 3 hatcheries.
Yeah, no Infestor Tech inside right now, just starting the first 2, but it already feels too late losing that 4th base. Maybe there's a world where you can hunker down, get a really good trade, catch these Mutas by surprise one time, but Rogue is firmly in control now, I would say, up to 70 drones of his own. 4 bases, which are full bases. Lambo's only on basically 2.5 bases of mining right now. And there's more and more aggression to come from Rogue here.
Yeah, and a lot of these Roaches have been sectioned off to try and get damage done with Tunneling Claws, and that means there isn't going to be a lot of front line for the Hydras here in the natural expansion. The Banelings are just going to dive right on in. Not getting the big connections here onto the Hydras just yet. Excellent split by Lambo. Rogue, he is going to be able to pick off a couple of these Hydras there on the northern side. That went about as well as it possibly could for Lambo, given the situation.
Yeah, he really needed something like that, like a big, decisive win for him in terms of resources. A lot of Banes go down there, which is a ton of gas. He's got to keep the 4th base alive, though. He needs to start mining here again soon. Going to come over with the Hydras and the Infestors, looking for that fungal. The Infestors at the front. Not going to give it to him is Rogue. Going to move away 4 now as he takes his 5th base on the left side of the map.
More Roaches going to try and find damage here for Lambo. Rogue finally able to surpass Lambo in supply. And the Banelings, they're going to roll in once more. There is fungal available here for Lambo. He is going to fungal those Banelings there on the backside. They still get a very good connection, though. Oh, my goodness. The +2 melee attack really paying off. As behind that, Rogue was able to snipe the hatchery down, too. It kind of just feels like Lambo is running out of steam.
Yeah, this counter damage just is not enough. Rogue has his own burrow now, actually burrowing some units there at the base to save them. More Banes out here on the map. The fungal whiffs. I mean, Lambo needs some amazing engagements to have any chance of coming back in this game. The landmines are set up. We know Rogue is so good with these. If you walk a bunch of Hydras over them, you could lose your whole army instantly. Couple Roaches going to fall here at the pocket base. Lambo sees that's not been taken. He also does know about the 9 or 10 o'clock base over there. 2 Banelings just going to roll into this army for some reason.
And Rogue is just taking his entire side of the map. The Banelings are coming in here again. And they're not really getting the connections that Rogue wants. But Rogue, with all these expansions, with Lambo reset back down to 3 hatcheries again, as that 4th hatchery has not yet finished, he can afford to just kind of throw away units like this and kind of fish for some damage, because if he gets it, it's basically game-ending.
Yeah, I love the burrow the Rogue's gone for as an answer to the burrow harassment of the Roaches. You're not going to bring an Overseer with these Roaches that are burrowed, so you have no detection. You're not able to see those drones. So many Overlords moved out on the map. If the Mutas catch these, that could be a game-ending maneuver. Not sure what they're trying to do. Make a creep highway or just all rally together. You do not want to lose those.
I wonder if Lambo is one of these players that hotkeys all of his Overlords over the course of the game, and he just might have accidentally sent them across the map, because they are going back home now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of Banelings, Sturgeon.
That is a lot of Banes. Look at these Overlords, the Armada.
I think it's time for Rogue just to collapse on this position.
We're gonna need
with
the
or without
biggest
fungal.
fungals.
I mean, it was 60 Banelings already. It's down to 16 now. The Mutas get on top of the Hydras. The fungal connects with the Mutas, but there just isn't any anti-air to finally get the damage. The Lings stream on in, and Rogue is going to have a clean 3-0 victory over Lambo. He will advance to face Hero at the upper bracket semifinals.
What a match that is going to be. A very valiant effort by Lambo there. I think he played well at stages in the game, but there were just those moments where the Banes got into the mineral lines, and the Mutas just kept taking favorable fights against the Hydras on the map, resetting the Hydra count, and that anti-air never got to just be that colossal amount that you need to just win the fight against the Mutas once you lock them down with the fungals.
Yeah, Lambo for much of the game had more workers, he had more economy, he had more supply, but the fact that he was never able to whittle down the Mutalist count, it really just proved to be the end of him, because the Mutas, once they reach like 24, they can take nearly any fight imaginable. The only thing that can stop them is the full clump of Hydras, eventually with fungal too. and that was just a little bit too far away there for Lambo. So Rogue with some really good games. You know, this was a very close series, I think, especially game 1 and game 2, but Rogue is going to be able to be victorious with the 3-0 win.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at the scoreline, it looks like Rogue kind of blasted him, but the games could have gone either way, I think, a lot of them. But yeah, 3-0 is going to be the score. He's going to move on to face Hero, as you said. Our other semi-bracket match will be Clem versus Cyril, guys. Ooh, that is a hot match. The semi-finals shaping up to be really good. ByuN is not out. He will move down to the losers bracket to face off against Shin in his EVT. And then another ZVZ to round things out with Solar versus Lambo.
Yeah, Lambo will get a chance to kind of show that he's got the stuff in ZVZ, because I feel like the gameplay that he showed versus Rogue, it was very good, but Rogue just had these little tiny advantages in every single game, was able to close them out. I think Lambo versus Solar, that should be a very close best of 5.
Yeah, cannot wait to see those games. Those ones will be on August 1st. August 2nd will be the semi-bracket matches.
Yeah, that August 2nd day is going to be absolutely awesome, by the way. I mean, Clem versus Cyril, Hero versus Rogue. You could not ask for a better upper bracket semifinals. So we take a look back at the Season 6 schedule. It's going to be, what is today? The 26th on Sunday. So 4 days left here in, I want to say, like the regular season, the online portion of the RSL, before the grand finals. September 13th, live at BlizzCon, cast by Tastosis. That's going to be exceptional.
Oh, it's going to be so hype. And the format has changed a little bit. It's going to be a best of 5 and best of 7 for quarters and upper bracket finals, semis, and lower bracket finals. And then I believe the grand finals is just a best of 7 this time. That one's going to be at BlizzCon on the stage. Cast by Artosis, as you said, it's going to be hype, dude.
Yeah, I cannot wait for that. And if you want to tune in to the live portion of the broadcast here online, these are the timetables for a lot of the time zones across the world. Beijing, London, New York, Dallas, Los Angeles, and the Vatican.
The Pope is watching. He's got his topaz. What's that necklace? Is it topaz?
I have no idea.
Someone in chat, what's the precious? What's the stone that the Pope wears? He's got his topaz on. He's got his robes on. He's watching the RSL, seeing who advances here.
Hey, he's a big baseball fan. I'm a big baseball fan. I like StarCraft. Maybe he likes StarCraft. You never know. It's a young Pope.
You both like baseball.
Baseball's
like
incredible.
StarCraft.
It's like
Therefore,
cricket. Yeah, exactly.
He must like StarCraft.
For a second, I'm so defensive about baseball that I was getting ready for you to just start hammering. And I mean, like, it's like cricket. How do you hate it?
we'll do that one off air, but yeah.
Anyway, big shout out to our official partner here at the RSL, Archon Studio. They are making the premier StarCraft tabletop miniatures game. If you've been watching the RSL from Season 1 through Season 6, I'm sure that you've seen some of these videos of Tasteless showing off the figures, some of the paintings that they've got. They look incredible, and this is actually a game that you can play. There are videos out there. There are build orders that you can do. It looks absolutely awesome. Go to starcraft-tmg.com, check it out. Show them some love, because they've been showing RSL a lot of love.
Yeah, indeed. You can like make your own build order. You can spend minerals and gas on the website.
You only start with 8 workers in that one. You don't start with 12. Everybody's complaining about the patch.
I wonder how much the CCs cost. Anyway, guys, check out the Patreon. The RSL is able to do what we do and run these awesome tournaments because of the community support. Of course, we give back to you in ways such as being able to vote on maps, vote in the players that you like. Trap was voted in this season. Scarlet. You know, we get some interesting players voted in, some interesting maps. You also get all the replays in these times, State, in these fresh times on the new patch. These replays are worth their weight in gold. Get those build orders. Get locked in.
Absolutely. And if you are an RSL supporter on Patreon, you can also go to tastelessthreads.com and get a 20% discount on all merchandise available, not just the RSL merch that's on there. There's Tastosis merch, there's general gaming merch. I think there's some StarCraft themed shirts, there's some fighting game themed shirts. It's a lot of fun stuff. You know it's good because Tasteless wears his own merch. Check it out, tastelessthreads.com.
Yep. Also, check out the YouTube. You can get your spoiler-free VODs. This is how we're trying to grow the RSL. There's a big portion of the audience that watches over on YouTube. We're trying to, get them onto the channel. So leave a like or a comment. Let us know what you thought. And yeah, check it out on the tube.
Yeah, I mean, if you're watching this on Twitch, you've heard us say this a million times. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube, what are you doing?
What are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for? Come on. You don't think
Christmas?
we deserve it? Anyway, folks, so that's going to be it for us here today at the RSL. We will see you again next week with more StarCraft 2. We love you. See you next time.